Chapter 59. Time flew. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. Early in the morning, when the first ray of sunlight rose, Ningyu hurriedly packed up and left the Ning family quietly. Before long, Ningyu arrived at the city gates of Tianxian City. Hee Ningyu, you're early. As soon as Ningyu stepped out of the city gate, he saw Wu Yong waiting outside. Wu Yong came to Ningyu's side and said, I haven't seen you for 2 days. Your cultivation has improved again. It will be difficult for me to defeat you without some effort. Compared to you, I'm already late. Glancing at Wu Yong, Ningyu said, Peak early stage Khanate. I believe you will break through to mid-stage Khanate after this trip to Elixir Dragon Valley. It is not that easy to break through to the middle stage of the Xiantian realm. If I had a soul solidifying pellet, I might be able to try to break through to the middle stage of the Xiantian realm. Waving his hand, Wu Yong said, Let's wait a little longer. Condensing pill. Touching his storage pouch, Ningyu rolled his eyes. 2 days, 5 cauldrons of elixirs, 1 superior grade condensing pill, and 4 superior grade condensing pills. In addition to the Supreme Essence condensing pill from last time, Ningyu had a total of 5 Supreme Essence condensing pills and 1 high-grade Essence condensing pill, but he did not plan to give them to Wu Yong. After all, he was not particularly familiar with Wu Yong, so there was no need for him to give them to Wu Yong. Whoosh! At this moment, the air seemed to tremble. Countless air currents gathered at one spot. In the next moment, a man in white appeared. The man in white carried a huge sword on his back. His face was resolute. Mid-stage Khanate? Seeing the man in white, Ningyu raised his eyebrows. He was secretly shocked. Although the man in white had concealed his aura, his sharp soul perception was still able to determine the man's cultivation. Mid-stage Khanate. The man in white was probably about the same age as him, but his cultivation had already reached the mid-stage Khanate. This martial arts talent was shocking. Xia Linxian. Wu Yong's shock was much greater than Ningyu's. At this moment, his mouth was slightly agape, and he was almost stunned on the spot. In the capital, Xia Linxian was the leader of the younger generation. He was very powerful. Some people speculated that his strength was on par with the top 1,000 martial artists in the inner yard of Danwu College. Most importantly, Xia Linxian had always been a loner and had never stepped out of the capital. Why would he come to Elixir Dragon Valley this time? Whoosh! Then Lu Wei tapped the ground with her toes and landed steadily in front of Ningyu and the others. Ningyu, this is Xia Linxian from the capital. After landing, Lu Wei explained, he will enter the inner valley with us. By the way, didn't Elder Hiroshi say that he wanted to go in with us? Ningyu was puzzled. Elder Amo will meet us at the entrance of Pill Dragon Valley's outer valley. We'll make a move first, Lu Wei said. To reach Pill Dragon Valley's outer valley, they had to pass through the magical Beast Ridge. There were many demonic beasts in the magical Beast Ridge, and it was a good place to train. Naturally, Elder Amo would not follow them. As for the safety of Lu Wei and the others, with Xia Linxian around, Elder Amo was very assured. Rumble. Suddenly, a sword aura shot out of thin air, directly attacking Ningyu. Xia Linxian, what are you doing? Lu Wei did not expect Xia Linxian to attack Ningyu. She immediately shouted, Ningyu is Snow Domain Pavilion's 3 stars consecrator. Xia Linxian's sudden attack made Lu Wei's expression change drastically. She knew Xia Linxian's strength, not to mention one Ningyu. Even 3 or 4 Ningyus might not be able to withstand a single attack from Xia Linxian. Ningyu, be careful, Wu Yong hurriedly reminded. Feeling the huge pressure, Ningyu frowned, but he still stood his ground, not moving an inch. Not bad. No wonder he can become Snow Domain Pavilion's 3 stars consecrator. First of all, cultivation aside, his determination is very rare. The sword aura was extremely fast, appearing 30 centimeters in front of Ning Yu's chest in the blink of an eye. Based on this trend, Xia Linxian had no intention of stopping. Ning Yu's expression changed slightly. He formed a hand seal with his right hand and took out the azure cloud sword. Chi-chi. As the sword struck out, the surrounding air seemed to be burning, letting out a sizzling sound. Pa! In the next instant, the azure cloud sword collided with Xia Linxian's sword aura, producing a low, muffled sound. Feeling the huge rebound from his wrist, Ning Yu's feet touched the ground, and he took a few steps back to dissipate the force. As for Xia Linxian, he stood in the same place, frowning, as if he was recalling the move just now. Xia Linxian, what the hell are you doing? Seeing that Xia Linxian had stopped, Lu Wei hurried to Ning Yu's side and examined Ning Yu. After making sure that he was fine, she scolded. I told you before we came, Ning Yu is Snow Domain Pavilion's 3 stars consecrator, and I told you not to have any conflict with him. Ignoring Lu Wei's scolding, Xia Linxian looked at the azure cloud sword in Ning Yu's hand and frowned. Your sword attack just now was very powerful. If you used an earth-grade flying sword, I'm afraid you could have forced me to draw my sword. You are also very strong, Ning Yu said in a deep voice. Indeed, Xia Linxian was very strong, even stronger than Song Fei of Drunken Cloud Brothel. Even though Ning Yu had displayed the supreme 9 purities sword art, he could only block Xia Linxian's sword chi. Once Xia Linxian drew his sword, Ning Yu would definitely not be his opponent. If I'm not wrong, your cultivation should have reached the late Hotian stage, or even infinitely close to the peak Hotian stage, Xia Linxian said. Xia Linxian's words made Ning Yu's heart skip a beat. He thought to himself that Xia Linxian was indeed worthy of being the capital's #1 genius. He could actually see through his cultivation. It must be known that the outside world generally believed that he was at the middle Hotian stage, but Xia Linxian could actually see through it. Ning, you couldn't help but think a little more highly of him. The peak of the middle Hotian stage, your talent is also not bad, Ning Yu said. What? As soon as Ning Yu's voice fell, Wu Yong suddenly jumped up. Xia Linxian's cultivation has reached the peak of the middle Hotian stage? This is too abnormal. It is really infuriating to compare with others. The peak of the middle Hotian stage. Lu Wei's heart also jumped. No wonder her father would use a supreme grade condensing essence pill to invite Xia Linxian. So his strength had already reached this level. You can see through my cultivation? Xia Linxian was finally moved, his mouth slightly opened, feeling a little incredulous. The reason why he could see through Ning Yu's cultivation was because he had a fortuitous encounter in his early years, practicing a kind of cultivation method that was especially sensitive to Yuan Qi. Practicing this kind of cultivation method not only had a special sense of other people's cultivation, but also could conceal one's own aura. Ning Yu could see through his cultivation. It seemed that there was a secret. Shrugging, Ning Yu said, I just guessed. Ning Yu's words made Xia Linxian have an impulse to vomit blood, but he still had a feeling that Ning Yu could really see through his cultivation, and it didn't seem like a blind guess. Let's quickly set off. After all, we still have to pass through the magic beast mountain range. Wu Yong took the lead and flew into the distance. Taking another look at Ning Yu, Xia Linxian's toes touched the ground, and his body instantly shot out. Ning Yu, Lu Wei said, her mouth slightly open. Let's go. Seeing that Lu Xuan wanted to say something, Ning Yu spoke in an indifferent manner, after which he ran into the distance. Damn it! Chapter 60. The magical Beast Mountain Range was located 25 li east of Tianqian City. It was rumored that many demonic beasts roamed within. Although the mountain range was extremely dangerous, the 4 major clans of Tianqian City would send their disciples there every year to train and fight against the demonic beasts. Of course, they only stayed at the periphery of the mountain range, not daring to enter. Pale Dragon Valley was located on the other side of the mountain range. In order to enter the valley, one had to pass through the extremely dangerous region. In a very deep region of the mountain range, under a dozen towering trees, 3 young cultivators stood with their backs against each other. They were wielding sabers, swords, and other weapons. Their clothes were tattered, and burn marks could be seen everywhere. A few corpses lay beside them, their bodies already a bloody mess from being pecked. Although the clothes of the 3 young men were tattered, one could tell from their temperament and tattered clothes that they came from an extraordinary background. One of the young men was carrying a petite, bloodthirsty eagle in his arms. Clearly it was a cub. The dozen or so bloodthirsty eagles were all over 2 meters long. They had fiery red feathers, hook-like beaks, and scissor-like tails. One of the bloodthirsty eagles swooped down and clawed at one of the young men. Then it took to the sky again. Another bloodthirsty eagle did the same thing. Clearly, these bloodthirsty eagles were intelligent. Damn it! Why is my luck so bad? Lu Fei spat out a mouthful of saliva and cursed. Lu Fei, you still have the cheek to say that? If you didn't steal the bloodthirsty eagle's cub, would we be in this situation? Lu Fei's words enraged Yun Chang. Originally, he and 4 Danwu College students had entered the magical Beast Mountain Range to enter the outer valley of Pale Dragon Valley as soon as possible. Who would have thought that they would meet Lu Fei from Danwu College? Moreover, Lu Fei had stolen the bloodthirsty eagle's cub, thoroughly angering the bloodthirsty eagles and causing them to hunt him down. Yun Chang accidentally fell into a dangerous situation and was also targeted by the bloodthirsty eagles. After a few battles, the 4 Danwu College students all died in battle. Currently, only Yun Chang, Lu Fei, and one of Lu Fei's followers were left. Humph. I didn't ask you to come with me. You're the one who wants the bloodthirsty eagle's cub, right? Lu Fei snorted coldly. You. Clenching his fists, Yun Chang's eyes burned with anger, but he quickly suppressed it. Lu Fei's cultivation was profound, and he had long since reached the middle stage of the Xiantian realm. He was ranked among the top 100 in the outer court of Danwu College, and his strength was unfathomable. Moreover, Lu Fei's followers' cultivation was not low either, having reached the late stage of the Xiantian realm. Suddenly, Lu Fei's follower sensed something and said, "There are 4 young martial artists 1,000 meters to the right. Yun Chang, hold the wild, bloodthirsty hawk hatchlings and lure them away." Lu Fei's eyes lit up as he hurriedly threw the bloodthirsty wild eaglet to Yun Chang and said, "When we return to Danwu College, I'll definitely report this to my uncle and get you a soul-condensing pill." Whoosh! Hugging the cub, Yun Chang's expression changed. He could sense the bloodthirsty wild hawk's aura locking onto him. Get lost. While Yun Chang wasn't paying attention, Lu Fei kicked Yun Chang into the distance. Ruthlessness. As soon as Yun Chang moved, the bloodthirsty wild hawk in the air flapped its wings and swooped down at him. Oh my God! With no time to think, Yun Chang broke into a run at lightning speed, using every ounce of strength he had left. Everyone be careful. There will be rank 3 demonic beasts ahead. At that moment, in the magical Beast Ridge, a group of 4 young cultivators was walking slowly. Wu Yong casually tossed aside a rank 2 demonic beast and reminded them, rank 3 demonic beasts are very powerful, equivalent to a Xiantian realm martial artist. How much longer until we reach the outer valley of the Pale Dragon Valley? Ningyu asked. If we move at full speed, it'll take about a day and a night. Wu Yong said, that's under the premise that we don't encounter a horde of demonic beasts. Once we do, our speed will drop to freezing point, and we might not even be able to move an inch. In the magical Beast Ridge, the scariest thing was not encountering powerful demonic beasts, but encountering a horde of demonic beasts. Wherever the horde of demonic beasts passed, not even a blade of grass would grow. There was no sign of life at all. Hurry up! I can sense the aura of at least 10 rank 3 demonic beasts in the surroundings. Xia Linxian took a step forward and headed into the distance. Swoosh! 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 Just then, the whistling of flying beasts came from the depths of the magical Beast Ridge, accompanied by a few screams and curses. Ning Yu's brows twitched, immediately realizing that there were cultivators fighting with flying beasts in the depths of the magical Beast Ridge. Bloodthirsty mad eagles. From the whistling, Ning Yu determined that the flying beasts were bloodthirsty mad eagles, early stage, rank 3 demonic beasts. Xia Linxian cupped his fists and said calmly, I advise you to mind your own business. The flying beasts in front of us are very powerful, and there are a lot of them. If that's the case, let's go around them. Lu Wei was not a nosy person. She knew that their destination was the Pill Dragon Valley, and wasting time here was not worth it. It's too late. However, Ning Yu's heart sank, and his expression turned ugly. He said in a low voice, Someone is leading the bloodthirsty mad eagles in our direction. The moment he said coming, Ning Yu saw a figure charging in their direction at lightning speed. Yun Chang. Ning Yu recognized the cultivator at a glance. It was Danwu College's Yun Chang. Prepare for battle. Xia Linxian bellowed and took out the giant sword on his back, his expression solemn. Those are bloodthirsty mad eagles. Early stage, rank 3 demonic beasts. Their strength is comparable to a mid-stage Xiantian martial artist. Ning Yu. Yun Chang's eyes were very sharp, and he naturally saw Ning Yu. After a momentary daze, he immediately increased his speed and flew over. Swoosh! Suddenly, a sword aura came from afar, heading straight for the dozen or so bloodthirsty mad eagles in the air. Woo woo! Perhaps sensing danger, the bloodthirsty mad eagles let out a few screams and immediately scattered. However, they did not leave. Instead, they circled above the group, waiting for the next time to swoop down. In the blink of an eye, Yun Chang arrived beside Ning Yu's group with the bloodthirsty mad eagles in his arms. He sat on the ground, panting heavily. Yun Chang, why did you lure these bloodthirsty mad eagles over? Ning Yu's expression was dark. If not for Wu Yong and the rest, he would have killed Yun Chang long ago. Ning Yu, I had no choice. Yun Chang was not stupid. Xia Linxian's shocking sword attack had forced the bloodthirsty mad eagles back, giving him hope of survival. He had to hold on tightly to Ning Yu's group. He could not be eliminated. Yun Chang's eyes darted around, and he hurriedly said, Ning Yu, as long as you are willing to save me, I will tell you a secret. It's about your big brother, Ning Xian. Swoosh! Ning Yu's expression turned cold. He took a step forward, and a powerful aura pressed down on Yun Chang. Speak. What happened to my big brother? Under the pressure of Ning Yu's aura, Yun Chang felt like he could not breathe. He was shocked. Ning Yu's strength had improved so quickly. He did not feel this way a few days ago. However, Yun Chang did not think too much about it. He hurriedly said, Your big brother and Kong Yu went deep into the magical Beast Mountain Range. They also want to go to Pill Dragon Valley. I heard that they were surrounded at the entrance of Pill Dragon Valley. Chapter 61. What did you say? Ning Yu's face turned cold. His aura gushed out crazily and pressed down on Yun Chang unscrupulously. Is this true or not? Tell me the truth. Plop! Unable to withstand Ning Yu's powerful aura, Yun Chang knelt on the ground and quickly said, It's absolutely true. If I'm lying, may I be struck by lightning. Hua! With a thought, Ning Yu instantly withdrew his aura. His face was ashen. The people of the corpse sect were extremely vicious. Once they targeted someone, the consequences would be unimaginable. In addition, Ning Xian's cultivation was only at the early stage of the Hotian realm. How could he be a match for the corpse sect? Screech! Screech! At this moment, the two bloodthirsty wild eagles finally couldn't bear it anymore. They cried out and quickly rushed toward Yunchang. Ningyu, I'll give you this bloodthirsty wild eagle hatchling. Yunchang quickly threw the hatchling to Ningyu and took a few steps back. This isn't a bloodthirsty wild eagle, but a dragon eagle. Looking at the hatchling in his arms, Ningyu was stunned for a moment. He determined that the hatchling didn't belong to a bloodthirsty wild eagle, but a dragon eagle hatchling. Whoosh! Whoosh! While Ningyu was still in a daze, the bloodthirsty wild eagles in the air suddenly changed their direction and swiped at Ningyu with their sharp claws. Noisy! At this moment, Ningyu was a little irritated. The two cyclones in his body became violent. He took out the azure cloud sword and swung it around. Pucci! The azure cloud sword was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, two sword rays shot out and landed on the wings of the two bloodthirsty wild eagles. Although the wings of the bloodthirsty wild eagles were extremely hard, they were still cut off by the powerful sword rays. Bang, bang! The two bloodthirsty wild eagles fell to the ground and let out miserable screams. The sudden change caused Lu Wei and the others to gape in shock. Ningyu was too abnormal, right? The bloodthirsty wild eagle was an early-stage third-order demonic beast, and its strength was equivalent to a Xiantian middle-stage martial artist. Ningyu had actually cut off their wings with a single slash. With such strength, it was no wonder that Lu Wei and the others were shocked. Looks like he hid his strength when he fought with me. In the distance, Xia Linxian frowned slightly. He was somewhat shocked. At the city gate of Tianqian City, he and Ningyu hastily exchanged blows. At that time, he didn't use any transcendent artifact, so Ningyu was at a disadvantage. This time it was the same move, but it was much more powerful than before. Xia Linxian guessed that he would have to use his full strength to block Ningyu's sword. Brother Xia, why don't we work together to repel these bloodthirsty wild hawks? Ningyu did not become arrogant after killing two bloodthirsty mad eagles. Instead, he suggested working together with Xia Linxian. This was because Ningyu knew very well that the reason the bloodthirsty wild hawks had been cut down by him was because they had been too careless and had focused all their attention on the dragon eagle hatchling. On top of that, he had used his full strength without holding back, and had even used the key within two cyclones. Under such circumstances, he had only been able to kill two bloodthirsty wild hawks with a single slash. Otherwise, he would have only been able to deal with one bloodthirsty wild hawk. This was also the reason why Ningyu wanted to work together with Xia Linxian. All right. Nodding, Xia Linxian waved the giant sword in his hand, tapped the ground with the tip of his foot, and soared into the air. Swoosh! The giant sword in his hand slashed down, and a huge sword light suddenly appeared, blasting directly at the bloodthirsty wild hawks in the sky. Lu Wei, carry this hatchling. After passing the hatchling to Lu Wei, Ningyu rose from the ground, and his ki continuously poured into the Qingyun sword. Then he used the first form of the Supreme Nine Purities, sword art, and joined the battle. Seeing that Ningyu and the others had joined the battle, Wu Yong also joined the battle. His cultivation was at the peak of the early Khanate stage. Although his strength was not as strong as Ningyu and Xia Linxian, he could still hold off one bloodthirsty wild hawk. As for Lu Wei, she took a few steps back, holding the hatchling in her arms, her brows tightly knitted together. This was because she realized that the hatchling was actually injured. A piece of flesh had been torn off its chest, and the feathers on its wings were dull. Immediately, Lu Wei's maternal instincts were aroused, and she quickly took out the medicinal herbs she carried with her to stop the bleeding. I didn't expect you to be an alchemist as well. Yun Chan leaned over and said shamelessly. Without raising her head, Lu Wei said coldly as she stopped the hatchling's bleeding, "If you don't go and help, I won't be able to help you if anything happens." Hearing this, Yun Chang's expression changed. Recalling the shock that Ningyu had given him, he gritted his teeth, and in an instant, He leaped out and joined the battle. Yun Chang was not stupid. He immediately reacted to Lu Wei's reminder. His cultivation was also at the early connate stage, similar to Wu Yong. It would not be a problem for him to hold off a bloodthirsty wild hawk for a short period of time. He knew very well that he was the cause of this trouble. If he had not brought news of Ning Xian, Ning Yu would have killed him long ago. Therefore, he exerted all of his strength and did not dare to hold back in the slightest. Boom! A ray of sword qi shot out, and Xia Linxian said, "Ning Yu, with our strength, I'm afraid it will be difficult to force these bloodthirsty wild hawks to retreat. It seems like we need to think of another way. If this continues, our yuan qi will be depleted. Why don't we return the hatchling to them?" After attacking a few times, Ning Yu shook his head and said, "According to my observation, even if we return the hatchling to them, they will not give up. After all, it is not their hatchling, but the hatchling of their natural enemy." Frowning, Xia Linxian said, "If that's the case, we can only fight to the death." Swoosh! Xia Linxian instantly increased his speed, and with a slash he landed on the neck of a bloodthirsty wild hawk. Crack! With a crack, the bloodthirsty wild hawk's neck was severed, its head separated from its body. That huge sword of his should be an earth-rank flying sword. Ning Yu was somewhat shocked. A flying sword that could sever the neck of a bloodthirsty wild hawk had to be at least earth-rank. Otherwise it would be very difficult to do so. Damn it, if I had refined the soul imprint pill and imprinted my soul imprint on the soul-severing sword, coupled with the supreme 9 purities sword art, killing these bloodthirsty wild hawks would not be difficult. Grasping the emerald cloud sword, the yuan qi in the 2 cyclones gushed out wildly. Ning Yu felt extremely frustrated, as if he had the power but could not use it. The supreme 9 purities sword art was extremely powerful, but without a flying sword, it could not display its full power. Moreover, after using the supreme 9 purities sword art several times, the emerald cloud sword could not hold on any longer, and the cracks on the sword gradually increased. According to Ning Yu's judgment, the emerald cloud sword would break completely after using the supreme 9 purities sword art 4 to 5 more times. I have to force them to retreat or kill them as soon as possible. With a cold glint in his eyes, Ning Yu knew that Ning Xian was under attack at the entrance of the Elixir Dragon Valley's outer valley, and he had to rush there as soon as possible. Netherworld Samsara Palm, second style, lonely name. His hands formed a series of hand seals, and the yuan qi in his body gathered on his palms. Go! With a low grunt, Ning Yu swung his hands out. Chapter 62. Pucci. Before the 2 bloodthirsty wild eagles could react, they were struck by the giant palm and turned into specks of bloody light, completely disappearing from the world. Whoosh! Ning Yu's thunderous attack stunned the other bloodthirsty wild eagles in the sky. They stared at Ning Yu as if he was the Grim Reaper, the fear in their eyes visible. The shock that came from the depths of their souls prevented them from acting rashly. They could only cry out a few times in the air. Phew! Seeing the reaction of the bloodthirsty wild eagles, Ning Yu let out a long sigh. Currently, before he refined the soul imprint pill, his strongest move was the Netherworld Samsara Palm. Relying on the unique soul attack of the second move of the Netherworld Samsara Palm, he could contend against a Xiantian realm martial artist when he was in the late Hotian realm. Once he refined the soul imprint pill and imprinted his soul imprint into the soul-breaking sword, his strongest move would be the supreme 9 purities sword art that he executed with the soul-breaking sword. After all, the soul-severing sword was a heaven-ranked magic treasure. Ning Yu is actually this strong. Yun Chang was somewhat dumbfounded. He had thought that he had overestimated Ning Yu, but Ning Yu had given him a shock that far exceeded his expectations. Ning Yu's 2 palms just now made him feel like his soul was trembling. So this is your true strength? Xia Linxian's eyes narrowed, his fighting spirit surging. He had the urge to spar with Ningyu. Screech! Screech! At this moment 6 or 7 bloodthirsty wild eagles were circling in the sky, crying out. They did not dare to swoop down recklessly. With a cold look in his eyes, Ningyu tapped the ground with the tip of his foot and waved his hands again. In an instant, 2 giant palm prints appeared. Boom! Boom! The palm prints did not stop at all, speeding into the sky. Seeing Ningyu's thunderous attack, Xiao Linqian's yuan qi circulated wildly, pouring endlessly into the giant sword. In the next instant, a giant sword light slashed out, following closely behind the 2 palm prints. Voila! Perhaps it was due to the immense pressure exerted on the bloodthirsty wild eagles by the palm imprint and the sword light. They let out a shrill cry and flew off into the distance. Whoosh! As soon as the bloodthirsty wild eagle flew away, Ningyu felt a wave of dizziness wash over him, and he felt like he was on the verge of collapsing. Lu Wei rushed to Ningyu's side and supported him, asking with concern, "Are you all right?" Waving his hand, Ningyu said, "I'm fine. Let's hurry up and reach the Pill Dragon Valley's outer valley as soon as possible." Stomping her foot, Lu Wei said angrily, "With your current state, even if you rush to the outer valley of Pill Dragon Valley, you won't be able to save Ningxian. In my opinion, you should recuperate for a period of time. It won't be too late to rush there after you've recovered to your peak state." "I'm really fine." Pushing away Lu Wei, Ningyu wanted to take a few steps, but his legs gave way and he fell to the ground. The previous few attacks had already drained Ningyu's origin qi. Now, there wasn't even a shred of origin qi left in his body. Moreover, his whole body was extremely weak, and he really didn't have the strength to even truss a chicken. Circulating the spirit transformation art, Ningyu hurriedly absorbed some of the origin qi in the air, giving his arms and legs some strength. Let's rest on the way. The corpse insect's way of doing things is incomparably sinister. I'm afraid it'll be too late if we delay any longer. Taking out a mid-grade origin crystal, Ningyu began to frantically absorb it to replenish his origin qi. Back at the Drunken Cloud Pavilion, he had won 10 mid-grade origin crystals from Song Fei, but he hadn't used them yet. Taking them out to absorb now was just right. After all, taking out high-grade origin crystals to absorb in front of Wu Yong and Xiao Linxian was a bit exaggerated. Jie, when Ningyu took out the mid-grade origin crystal, the dragon eagle chick let out a few strange cries and struggled to break free from Lu Wei's embrace. Its small eyes shone brightly. Seeing this, Ningyu broke off a small piece of origin crystal and handed it to the dragon eagle chick. Kacha! The dragon eagle chick swallowed the origin crystal fragment after chewing for a bit. This chick is a bit special. It can actually swallow mid-grade origin crystals. Xiao Linxian was a bit shocked. He had seen demonic beasts that could swallow origin crystals, but he had never seen a chick that could. "Ningyu, will Lil Red be all right?" Lu Wei asked worriedly. Jie. The dragon eagle chick let out 2 J sounds, as if it was very satisfied with this name. The corner of his mouth twitched a few times. Lil Red? Only Lu Wei could think of this name. When the dragon eagle chick grew up, it would probably regret it because it was a male. Don't worry. I've read in a book that this kind of chick is fine after swallowing origin crystals. Once they become adults, they often eat the cores of other demonic beasts. Ningyu handed another fragment to the dragon eagle chick and said, "A demonic beast's core contains a lot of origin qi, no less than the origin crystal fragments I fed it." That's good. Patting her ample chest, Lu Wei let out a long sigh. It was obvious that she had already developed feelings for the dragon eagle chick and had become one with it. Shrugging, Ningyu was a bit speechless. There was a saying that a woman's heart was like a needle at the bottom of the sea, unfathomable and unfathomable. Let's hurry up and set off. I've already recovered a bit, but I'm afraid that the bloodthirsty wild eagle will come back if we wait any longer, Ningyu said after Cyclone had recovered a third of its origin chi. Ningyu, this chick should we? Xiao Linxian gestured at his neck as he spoke, his meaning self-evident. Xiao Linxian, what are you going to do to my Lil Red? Lu Wei was a bit angry as she scolded. Lil Red didn't offend you. Why are you being so cruel? Xiao Linxian felt a bit helpless. In truth, he was worried that Lil Red would attract other demonic beasts. They weren't in peak condition right now, and if they encountered a dozen or so third-rank demonic beasts, the consequences would be unthinkable. Brother Xia, it's fine. It shouldn't attract other demonic beasts, Ningyu said, shaking his head at Xiao Linxian. The reason why Ningyu was so sure was that he had separated a wisp of his soul power and wrapped it around the little red packet. By doing so, other demonic beasts wouldn't be able to detect its aura. Xiao Linxian had no choice but to set off dubiously towards the outer valley of Pale Dragon Valley. Wu Yong and Yun Chang followed closely behind Xiao Linxian. As for Ningyu, he followed beside Lu Wei. He had to keep an eye on Lil Red at all times to prevent its aura from leaking and attracting other powerful, demonic beasts. In the dense forest of towering trees, there was an open space filled with withered leaves. At this moment, on this open space, a dozen or so young cultivators were standing back to back, huddled together. Their clothes were ragged, and they were more or less severely injured. Some of them had a broken arm, while others were missing a leg. Surrounding them were dozens of black-clothed martial artists. These black-clothed martial artists were all at the peak of the post-liminary realm. The gazes of these young cultivators weren't focused on them. Instead, they were fixated on an old man who stood at the head of the black-clothed martial artists. The old man's aura was restrained. As he inhaled and exhaled, the air around him seemed to vibrate. This state indicated that the old man's cultivation had reached the peak of the post-liminary realm. Chapter 63. A dozen students from Danwu College. Not bad, not bad. The corner of the black-clothed old man's mouth curled up as his gaze swept across the crowd like a hunting dog staring at its prey. He said, "Now I'll give you a chance to live. Whoever can withstand one of my attacks will be allowed to leave." Hearing the black-clothed old man's words, a few of the early-stage Xiantian realm cultivators revealed a joyful expression. However, their expressions quickly turned gloomy. Although the chance to withstand one of the black-clothed old man's attacks seemed very high, it was actually very slim. The black-clothed old man was at the peak of the Xiantian realm, not to mention early-stage Xiantian realm cultivators. Even late-stage Xiantian realm cultivators might not be able to withstand one of his attacks. "Let me." Suddenly, a young man in his 20s stepped forward and shouted, "I'll take one of your attacks." Looking at the young man, the black-clothed old man shook his head and said, "Peak Hotian realm cultivation. I don't even need 10% of my strength to deal with you." Whoosh! As soon as he finished speaking, the black-clothed old man's feet touched the ground, and he instantly dashed forward. Bang! In the next moment, there was a loud bang, and the young man's body was like a kite with a broken string. He fell straight to the ground. Puchi! A mouthful of blood sprayed out, and the young man died on the spot. Hua! The death of the young man caused the expressions of the other Danwu College students to change dramatically. Their eyes were filled with fear and despair. The black-clothed old man clapped his hands and said, "How boring. I didn't even use any strength, and he already fell. Who's next?" This time, none of the remaining people dared to make a move. After all, they had just been taught a bloody lesson. No one wanted to face the god of death so early. A moment later, a man in light blue clothes said, "You guys besieged the students of Danwu College. Aren't you afraid that the dean's elder will come and fight you?" "Fight me?" The black-clothed old man pointed at his nose and laughed wildly. "To tell you the truth, Your elder has already been besieged by the upper echelons of the corpse sect. His life or death is unknown. You want them to come and save you? Wishful thinking. The man in blue felt a chill in his heart. He had been hoping that the academy elders would come to his rescue, but now it seemed that he had been thinking too much. The man's name was Han Feng, and he was the only old student from Danwu College who had come out for training. His strength had reached the peak of the middle stage of the Xiantian realm. Before coming here, the elders of the academy had instructed him to protect the students of the academy. Now that such a huge change had occurred, he was also very distressed. Han Feng took a step forward and said, "How about we make a deal? As long as I can withstand one of your attacks, you'll let go of a student from Danwu College." The black-clothed elder raised his eyebrows and stared at Han Feng with interest. Peak of Xiantian middle stage. He broke through to the peak of Xiantian middle stage at such a young age. It seems like the decision made by the sect's higher-ups was right. The black-robed old man was secretly shocked because Han Feng was almost 21 years old, and his cultivation had already broken through to the peak of the middle stage Xiantian realm, only one step away from the late stage Xiantian realm. Even in the great Xia kingdom's corpse sect, this kind of talent would be heavily nurtured. Brother Han Feng, you mustn't. Yet you're no match for him. Where there is life, there is hope. Han Feng's face darkened, and he said coldly, "All of you, shut up. I'm your big brother, your senior. I have the obligation and responsibility to protect your safety. Since you want to play, then I'll play with you." The black-clothed elder waved his hand, and suddenly 20-peak Hotian realm warriors walked out from behind him. Pointing at the 20-peak Hotian realm warriors, the black-clothed elder said, "I won't fight with you. If you can withstand their siege for half an hour, I'll let one student go. Hold on for an hour, and I'll let 2 students go until they're all gone." Xiao. Han Feng didn't speak any nonsense. His figure flashed, and he landed in the middle of the 20-peak Hotian realm warriors. After landing on the battlefield, Han Feng seemed to have changed into a different person. His eyes were sharp, and he repeatedly pointed his fingers. Streaks of cold light swept out from his fingertips. Puff, puff, puff. The muffled sounds of flesh exploding continuously resounded in this area. These sounds were like the scythe of the Grim Reaper. Every time these sounds rang out, a peak Hotian realm black-clothed martial artist would fall to the ground, his eyes dim and lifeless. The sudden and unexpected turn of events caused everyone, including the black-clothed old man, to be stunned, especially the black-clothed elder. He didn't expect Han Feng to be so strong. It should be known that Han Feng had been seriously injured before, and his Yuan Qi was almost depleted. Yet he still had such combat strength. This kind of strength was really terrifying. Although Han Feng had displayed a strong combat strength at the beginning, forcing the black-clothed elder to retreat, as time went on, he gradually became physically exhausted. Every time he attacked, it consumed a lot of his energy. If he hadn't intimidated the black-clothed elder at the beginning, he probably wouldn't have been able to hold on. Boring. After watching for a while, the black-clothed elder no longer paid attention to Han Feng. In his opinion, Han Feng was already dead. Swish! Suddenly, the black-clothed elder saw a young man in the middle of the crowd, and his face darkened. With cold eyes, the black-clothed elder instantly sped up. Yuan Qi was released from his body, and dozens of Danwu College students were shaken away. In the middle, there was a man in his 20s lying on the ground. His right leg was obviously broken. After staring at the man for a while, the black-clothed elder asked, "What's your name?" Ning Xian's heart sank, but he still answered honestly, "Ning Xian." "Ning Xian, what's your relationship with Ning Yu?" The black-clothed elder raised his eyebrows and asked again. "Ning Yu is my younger brother," Ning Xian said. The black-clothed elder's eyes turned cold, and he ordered the dozens of peak post-liminary realm martial artists behind him. Except for Ningxian, kill everyone else. The moment the word kill fell, the martial artists behind the black-clothed elder instantly rushed out, like hungry dogs pouncing on food, toward the Danwu College students. Ah. These Danwu College students were already seriously injured. How could they resist the attack of the black-clothed martial artists? Not long after, there were 7 or 8 corpses lying on the ground. Damn it! In the distance, Han Feng cursed. He forced the 2 martial artists in front of him to retreat and rushed back to help. There's no point in keeping you alive now so you can die. Han Feng had just forced the 2 martial artists to retreat when he felt a cold light coming toward his chest. Then he felt a great pain in his chest. His vision went black, and he lost consciousness. Old fart, even if I become a malicious spirit, I will come back to seek revenge. The elders of Danwu College will not let you off. Aha! Chapter 64. Roar. In the depths of the magic Beast Mountain Range, an earth-shattering roar reverberated, intimidating all the demonic beasts in the vicinity into scattering. Immediately, a giant King Kong tiger roared, its blood-red eyes emitting a bloodthirsty light. Its 4 hooves stomped on the ground, and it leaped, attacking a few martial artists not far away. King Kong tigers were mid-stage, rank 3 demonic beasts, with thick skin and powerful strength. A berserk King Kong tiger could contend with a late-stage innate martial artist. Opposite the King Kong tiger, 2 young martial artists looked solemn. You guys back off. Xiao Linxian let out a low bellow, waving the giant sword in his hand and pouncing at the King Kong tiger. The giant sword chopped at the King Kong tiger's neck, but it actually failed to cut it in half. Damn it! Xia Linxian cursed inwardly and immediately pulled some distance away from the King Kong tiger. Brother Xia, help me stall the King Kong tiger for 3 minutes. Ning Yu's face was gloomy. He knew that the situation was dire. If he could not rush to the outer valley of Elixir Dragon Valley as soon as possible, Ningxian might meet with misfortune. And the King Kong tiger was a mid-stage, rank 3 demonic beast with powerful strength. It would not be so easy to defeat it. The only thing he could do now was to take a risk and gamble. Understood. Xia Linxian glanced at Ningyu, and the aura around his body suddenly increased, and he rushed at the King Kong tiger again. Swoosh! Swoosh! Beside him, Wu Yong and Yun Chang also joined the battle. Although their cultivation was only at the peak of early stage innate, it was still possible for them to stall for half a minute. Ningyu took a deep breath, formed a seal with both hands, and displayed the essence gathering hand seal. Buzz! Following the display of the essence gathering hand seal, the surrounding Yuan Qi seemed to be attracted, and they all wrapped around Ningyu's palm. At the same time, Ningyu's mind moved, and the Yuan Qi in the 2 cyclones gushed out crazily, all converging at his right wrist. Bang! Bang! 1 minute later, Wu Yong and Yun Chang were repelled, and they suffered heavy injuries. Pucci! 2 minutes later, Xiao Linxian vomited a mouthful of blood, and he fell to one knee, panting heavily. Damn it! On the 3rd minute, Lu Wei put Little Red on the ground, her almond-shaped eyebrows knitted together. She rose from the ground and was about to attack. Hiss! At this moment, Ning Yu's eyes narrowed. Violent Yuan Qi gathered on his palm, emitting a hissing sound. Netherworld, Samsara palm. Second move, lonely name. As Ningyu bellowed, a nearly solid palm imprint blasted towards the King Kong tiger's head like a meteor. The substantial palm print collided with the Vajra tiger's hard body, producing a terrifying Yuan Qi wave that scattered in the air. After the surrounding trees were swept by the essence Qi wave, they trembled incessantly. Some of the smaller trees were even uprooted. Kacha! The abnormally hard Vajra tiger leather armor didn't last long under Ning Yu's tangible palm print. With the sound of bones breaking, the Vajra tiger's chest was struck by the fierce palm print, and its entire body was sent flying several feet away. Bang! Following that, a muffled sound was heard. A tangible palm print swept out from the Vajra tiger's chest, forcibly piercing through its hard chest. Puff! Fresh blood splattered. At this moment, the mid-stage tier 3 demonic beast, the Vajra tiger, was killed by Ningyu with one palm. Xiao Linxian and the rest looked at the Vajra tiger that was long dead, then looked at Ningyu who was standing in place. Their mouths were slightly agape, all dumbfounded. Gulp! After a moment, Xiao Linxian and the rest reacted. They looked at Ning Yu like they were looking at a monster, killing a mid-stage tier 3 demonic beast with one palm. Was he still human? Furthermore, a few hours ago, Ningyu had just made a move to kill a few bloodthirsty wild eagles and expended a lot of energy. How could he still unleash such a powerful attack now? Just where were his limits? Whoosh! Right at this moment, Little Red suddenly scurried out from Lu Wei's arms and ran to the Vajra tiger's head. Using its sharp claws, it extracted the Vajra tiger's inner core. After extracting the inner core, Little Red swallowed it into its stomach. Following that, it patted its stomach like a human and lay down in Lu Wei's arms to sleep. Full speed ahead. Glancing at Little Red, Ningyu forcefully swallowed the fishy taste in his throat. Then he rose from the ground and rushed towards the outer valley of Elixir, Dragon Valley. Behind him, Xiao Linxian and the rest were not slow at all. As Ningyu and the rest were moving at full speed and did not encounter any demonic beasts along the way, they passed through the magical Beast Mountain range and entered the outer valley of Elixir Dragon Valley a day later. Get down! Suddenly, Ningyu's expression changed, and he quickly pushed Lu Wei to the ground. Sure. Just as Lu Wei was about to lose her temper, Ningyu quickly covered her mouth with one hand and pointed to the distance with the other. He whispered, "Don't speak." Lu Wei understood and immediately quieted down. Whoosh! Moments later, several figures appeared in their vision. Ning Xian, Kong Yu. Seeing the two familiar faces at the front, Ning Yu's expression changed, and he could not help but clench his fists, because he saw that Ning Xian's right leg was obviously broken. Moreover, Ning Xian's breath was weak, as if he could die at any moment. Who is that man? Could he be a genius from Dongwu College? Glancing over, Ning Yu was surprised to see the young man beside Ning Xian. He realized that the young man's cultivation had reached the middle stage of the Khanate realm. Han Feng. Ning Yu did not know Han Feng, but Yun Chang did. After all, they were both students from Dongwu College, and Han Feng was a senior. It's Han Feng. How did he get caught? Where are the other students? At this moment, a series of questions flashed across Yun Chang's mind. He could not understand why Han Feng was caught. At this time, Han Feng should be with the other students. Could it be? Thinking of this, Yun Chang's expression darkened. A bad feeling arose in his heart. At this moment, an old man in black walked out from the crowd. It's him. Seeing the old man in black, Ning Yu's heart trembled because he knew the old man in black. He was the mysterious man who attacked him in the Ning family, the barbarian Corpse King. Ning Yu, do you know him? Xiao Linxian asked with a frown. The barbarian Corpse King, a member of the Corpse sect. After pondering for a moment, Ning Yu slowly said, originally, Ning Yu did not want to tell them the identity of the barbarian Corpse King, but considering that what he was going to do next might be crazy, he decided to tell them in advance. Hiss! Sure enough, hearing the 3 words Corpse sect, even Xiao Linxian, who was very strong, could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. With his special perception of Yuan Qi, Xiao Linxian could already guess that the barbarian Corpse King's cultivation was at the peak of the Khanate realm, only half a step away from breaking through to the true martial realm. although his cultivation had reached the peak of the middle stage of the Khanate realm. In the face of a peak of the Khanate realm martial artist, he would be defeated in one move. The two were simply not on the same level. Moreover, he found that there were no less than 30 or 40 peak of the post-liminary realm martial artists around him. Just these martial artists alone were enough to make him suffer. He was different from Ningyu. Ningyu's absorption of Yuan Qi was extremely fast. On the way here, he had already completely replenished the Yuan Qi in his cyclone and was now in peak condition. Chapter 65. I didn't expect a mere middle innate realm warrior to be able to withstand my full power attack and not die. There must be some secret. I need to bring him back to study. Looking at Han Feng, the barbarian corpse king's lips curled up into an evil smile. Originally, he thought that Han Feng would be killed in one move. Who would have thought that when he wanted to leave, Han Feng would crawl back up like a cockroach? At this moment, the barbarian corpse king became interested and decided to bring Han Feng along. After all, one more person would not affect him. She's quite pretty. If I didn't have something important to do, I would really like to enjoy her now. Staring at Kong Yu, the barbarian corpse king revealed a lewd smile. Elder, why did you leave the three of them? Next to the barbarian corpse king, a middle innate realm warrior in black clothes frowned and said, the mission we received was to kill all the students sent out by Danwu College this time. Leave none alive. Humph. Tai Feng, do I need you to judge my actions? With a cold snort, the barbarian corpse king's powerful aura pressed down on Tai Feng and said gloomily, don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Yes, yes. Being suppressed by the barbarian corpse king's aura, Tai Feng hurriedly nodded. Ningyu, as long as you dare to come, I will definitely make you suffer. The corner of the barbarian corpse king's mouth curled up. This time, I must obtain a soul attack spell. Then the barbarian corpse king asked, how are the corpses? Tai Feng said, cautiously, I have already sprinkled corpse-ine powder on the corpses. I believe those corpses have already turned into thick water. Good, very good. You are still somewhat useful. Nodding, the barbarian corpse king waved his hand and said, take a dozen people and spread the news that Ningyu has been captured by us and will be executed here in a few days. Hearing this, Tai Feng hurriedly led a dozen warriors in black clothes and ran away. Swoosh! In the distance, as he watched Tai Feng and the others leave, Ningyu spoke in a low voice. Everyone, let's part ways here. Lu Wei was slightly stunned when she heard Ningyu's words, and then she gritted her teeth and said, Ningyu, your problem is my problem. Tell me, how can I help? Ningyu did not say anything. Instead, his gaze swept across Xiao Linxian and the others. Being stared at by Ningyu, Xiao Linxian gritted his teeth and said, I was hired by Snow Domain Pavilion to protect Miss Lu. I must follow her no matter what she does. Wu Yong raised his hand and said, you saved my life. I will go through water and tread on fire for you. As for Yun Chang, he was very conflicted. He didn't want to get involved. After all, the other party was an expert from the corpse sect. However, he had no other choice but to firmly tie himself to the same boat as Ningyu and the others. Otherwise, if Ningyu got angry, he would not be able to bear the consequences. Ningyu took a deep look at everyone and said, I will lure the barbarian corpse king away. As for you, you will rescue my big brother and the others. I know this matter is difficult for you. If you are not willing, I will not force you. Ningyu, you can rest assured. I am willing to make a heavenly oath. If I violate it, let the heavens strike me to death. Wu Yong said, I will also make a heavenly oath. Yun Chang said, me too. Xia Linxian and Lu Wei said. Xiao Hong also raised her little paw, looking a bit cute. Ningyu was not a stingy person. Since Lu Wei and the others were willing to help him, he would not let them suffer a loss. He reached into his bosom and took out a small jade bottle. Bang! After opening the jade bottle, Ningyu poured out 4 crystal-clear elixirs. Supreme Essence Condensing Elixirs. Seeing the elixirs in Ningyu's hand, Xia Linxian immediately cried out. This time he came to protect Lu Wei, and the reward was a Supreme Essence Condensing Elixir. However, the Snow Domain Pavilion Master had not paid him yet. Only when Lu Wei returned to Profound Sky City would he be paid. He had also seen that Supreme Essence Condensing Elixir before. Compared to the elixirs in Ningyu's hand, one was like heaven and the other was on earth. They could not be mentioned in the same breath. Beside him, Wu Yong and Yun Chang's faces were burning with passion. They even wanted to snatch it. Could it be that he refined these essence condensing elixirs? Looking at Ningyu, Lu Wei was a little shocked. A few days ago, Ningyu had just bought 5 sets of herbs for refining essence condensing elixirs from Snow Domain Pavilion. Now he took out 4 Supreme Essence condensing elixirs. She could not help but be suspicious. Xiao, 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 xiao. With a flick of his finger, Ningyu handed the 4 essence condensing elixirs to Xia Linxian and the other 3. These are Supreme Essence condensing elixirs. My master left them for me. Since you are willing to help me, I will not let you die in vain. Ningyu said in a deep voice, your cultivation is at the peak of your stage. With these Supreme Essence condensing elixirs, you can try to break through to a higher stage. Lu Wei, you are now at the peak of the Hotian realm. It is not suitable for you to refine the essence condensing elixirs. Help me protect them and speed up their refining speed. Xia Linxian and the others did not say any nonsense. They all sat down cross-legged and threw the Supreme Essence condensing elixirs into their mouths. In the next moment, Xia Linxian and the others felt a huge amount of energy spreading in their stomachs. They hurriedly revolved their mental cultivation method to cultivate. Fortunately, Xia Linxian and the others were warriors of the Xiantian realm. Their physiques were strong, and they could withstand the power of the Supreme Essence condensing elixirs. Compared to ordinary essence condensing elixirs, the Supreme Essence condensing elixirs refined by Ningyu were milder and easier to refine and absorb. Kacha! In the evening, Xia Linxian's eyes lit up with joy. The origin chi in his whirlpool reached its limit and expanded again. Late stage of the Xiantian realm. At this moment, Xia Linxian had broken through to the late stage of the Xiantian realm. His strength had increased by several times. Kacha! Kacha! After another hour, Wu Yong and Yun Chang both stood up with joy on their faces. Middle stage of the Xiantian realm. They were originally at the peak of the early stage of the Xiantian realm. With the help of the Supreme Essence condensing elixirs, it was natural for them to break through to the middle stage of the Xiantian realm. Moreover, there was still the remaining power of the Supreme Essence condensing elixirs in their bodies. They believed that after refining it, they could break through to the peak of the middle stage of the Xiantian realm. They might even be able to break through to the late stage of the Xiantian realm. Who? After Xia Linxian and the others broke through, Ningyu let out a long breath. During the day, the corpse sect had lost more than a dozen peak Hotian realm warriors and a middle stage Xiantian realm warrior. As long as he lured the barbarian corpse king away, with the current strength of Xia Linxian and the others, saving Ningxian would be a piece of cake. Ningyu, why don't we wait for old Demo to come? You're not a match for the barbarian corpse king. Lu Wei said worriedly. Don't worry. I'm just luring the barbarian corpse king away. I'm not going to fight it to the death. With a faint smile, Ningyu said, when the time comes, we'll meet at the entrance of the Pill Dragon Valley. If you don't see me in 3 days, you can go ahead and enter the Pill Dragon Valley. But Lu Wei's mouth slightly opened. She wanted to say something, but when she saw the look in Ningyu's eyes, she didn't say anything in the end. Chapter 66. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In the forest, Ningyu's speed was extremely fast, and he appeared in front of the barbarian corpse king in the blink of an eye. He waved the azure cloud sword in his hand, and 3 sword rays flew out. The barbarian corpse king's expression changed slightly when he felt the strong wind. He then flicked his finger, and 3 sword rays shot out from his sleeve. Chi chi chi. In the next instant, the 3 sword rays were forcefully blocked, unable to advance any further. Whoosh! At the same time, Ningyu landed steadily in front of the barbarian corpse king. Ningyu! The barbarian corpse king was slightly startled when he saw the young man standing in front of him. He then laughed loudly. Ha ha ha! You really came by without any effort. I was just about to look for you, but you delivered yourself to me. Barbarian corpse king, I know you want to deal with me. Let Ningxian go. Ningyu's expression was gloomy as he stared at the barbarian corpse king. It's not impossible to let Ningxian go. The barbarian corpse king rolled his eyes and said, But you have to promise me something. Ningyu raised his eyebrows and said calmly, What is it? The barbarian corpse king said with a smile, How about using the same move that you used on me in the Ning family? Ningyu's expression changed slightly when he heard the barbarian corpse king's words. A bad premonition arose in his heart. Looks like he knows that I used a soul attack spell. Ningyu is not stupid. He understood the barbarian corpse king's intention after thinking for a while. When he used a soul attack spell against the barbarian corpse king in the Ning family, he must have been discovered by the barbarian corpse king. Now the barbarian corpse king was trying to capture Ningxian to lure him out and force him to reveal the soul attack spell. Thinking of this, Ningyu said coldly, Barbarian corpse king, let's fight somewhere else. As soon as he finished speaking, Ningyu pushed off the ground with the tip of his toes, raised his speed to the limit, and flew into the distance. How could the barbarian corpse king not know what Ningyu was thinking? But he did not care. In his opinion, the further Ningyu went, the better. By the time he forced out the soul attack technique, no one would have known that he would be able to keep the soul attack technique to himself. Let's attack. In the distance, after the barbarian corpse king left for a period of time, Xiao Linxian, Wu Yong, and the others immediately attacked. Their cultivation had increased by a level, and their strength had greatly increased. Dealing with dozens of peak Hotian warriors was not a problem at all. In about half an hour, Xiao Linxian and the others had killed all the hidden peak Hotian warriors and rescued Ningxian, Kongyu, and the others. Let's go. After saving Ningxian, Xiao Linxian decisively led Ningxian and the rest towards the inner valley of Pill Dragon Valley. Barbarian Corpse King, I have already used a secret technique to contact my master. When my master arrives, it will be the day of your death. Ningyu's speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared from the Barbarian Corpse King's sight. However, his voice still echoed in the air. Hee, you want to run away from me? Just as Ningyu disappeared, the Barbarian Corpse King smiled faintly. Immediately, its ghostly figure dashed out quickly. Even the ground began to shake. No, if this goes on, the Barbarian Corpse King will catch up to me sooner or later. Looking back at the approaching Barbarian Corpse King, Ningyu's expression was a little ugly. He was very worried. Although he had raised his speed to the limit and even burned his soul power to increase his speed, he was still somewhat powerless against the Barbarian Corpse King, who was at the innate perfected realm. At this speed, the Barbarian Corpse King would catch up to him in less than half an hour. Shio! After about half an hour, when Ningyu felt a strong wind coming from behind him, his body trembled and he quickly moved to the side. However, just as he moved to the side, a cold light passed by his head. It was only a millimeter away from hitting his head. Hua! Since the Barbarian Corpse King had caught up to him, Ningyu simply stopped. According to his judgment, Xiao Linxian and the others should have rescued Ningxian. Buzz! Just as Ningyu stopped, the barbarian corpse king blasted out another powerful attack towards him. The yuan qi in the cyclone surged and gathered on his wrist. Ningyu pushed out his palm. Netherworld Samsara palm. Second style, lonely name. Bang! The illusory palm print collided with the barbarian corpse king's attack, instantly causing a muffled sound. Following which, violent yuan qi ripples spread out in this area and only dissipated after a while. Halfway up the mountain, Ningyu stood in the same place. His pupils constricted and his face was slightly gloomy. Not far in front of him, the barbarian corpse king stared at him with undisguised joy on his face. This is the feeling. It is indeed a soul attack spell. The corner of the barbarian corpse king's mouth curled up, and he said coldly, Ningyu, hand over the soul attack spell, and I will leave your corpse intact. The barbarian corpse king was very clear that if Ningyu's cultivation was the same as his, then he would not have been able to block that move. The faint soul attack mixed in the palm print made his heart tremble. If he was not prepared, he would have been hit by the attack. Barbarian corpse king, if you want the soul attack spell, let's see if you have the ability to do so. Ningyu snorted coldly. Good, very good. Since you are not willing to hand it over, I can only forcefully plunder your memories. The barbarian corpse king's face was ferocious. The yuan qi in his body instantly surged and attacked Ningyu with lightning speed. His palm was bent like an eagle's claw, extremely ruthless. Seeing this, Ningyu did not dare to be careless. He retreated and drew out the azure cloud sword. With a flick of his wrist, the azure cloud sword flew out of his hand and attacked the barbarian corpse king. Crack! The azure cloud sword and the barbarian corpse king's sharp claws collided and made a crisp sound. Then it broke into two halves. Seeing the azure cloud sword break, Ningyu's face was extremely gloomy, but there was nothing he could do. He was very clear that the azure cloud sword could not withstand the powerful force of the supreme nine purities sword art. It was not easy for it to last until now. This soul attack spell of yours is also not bad. I want it too. The corner of the barbarian corpse king's mouth curled up and he accelerated again. The yuan qi in his body gathered on his wrist and he ruthlessly chopped at Ningyu's head. Not good. Feeling the barbarian corpse king's powerful attack, Ningyu's expression changed greatly and he could not help but retreat. At this moment, the barbarian corpse king used his full strength and did not hold back at all. He had already given up on the idea of forcing the soul attack spell out of Ningyu's mouth. Instead, he wanted to kill Ningyu by force and then use a secret technique to forcefully plunder his memories. Essence gathering hand seal. Both his hands formed a seal, and the essence gathering hand seal was executed to the extreme. The yuan qi in the surroundings frantically flew towards Ningyu. The yuan qi in the two cyclones poured out without any reservation and gathered on Ningyu's right palm. Still not enough. Gritting his teeth, Ningyu took out the remaining two essence condensing pills and swallowed them. Following that, the spirit transformation spell circulated crazily, and endless yuan qi rushed out from the high-grade yuan crystals. Following the guidance of the spirit transformation spell, all of it was transferred to Ningyu's right palm. Netherworld, Samsara palm, second move. The powerful yuan qi fluctuation from his wrist caused Ningyu's expression to soften slightly. In the next instant, he formed a seal with his right hand and instantly pushed it out. Gu Ming! Chapter 67. At this moment, the heaven and earth yuan qi surged. The giant palm flew across the sky and arrived in front of the barbarian corpse king in an instant. It enlarged in the barbarian corpse king's eyes and clashed violently with his fist under his shocked gaze. Bang! At the moment of impact, the surrounding ground even shook. Majestic energy poured out completely at this moment, constantly spreading in all directions. The terrifying ripples became more and more intense. The surrounding ground had already split open into a giant crack. It was extremely terrifying. Swoosh! Swoosh! Almost at the same time, two figures retreated rapidly and only managed to stabilize themselves after retreating several feet away. Pucci! With a sweet taste in his throat, Ningyu spat out a mouthful of dark red blood. His face was pale and bloodless. Ningyu, you have completely infuriated me. I will tear you apart. The barbarian corpse king clenched his fists tightly. His deep voice was filled with dense killing intent as it reverberated in the area. Although this was what he said, the barbarian corpse king was extremely shocked, extremely shocked. He did not expect that Ningyu's full force attack would be so powerful that it could be evenly matched with him. If he had not been prepared, he would have been injured by the powerful pressure on his soul. Even so, he felt that his fist was extremely sore and could not exert 100% of his strength. Blood-killing palm. A dense chill continuously burst out from the barbarian corpse king's eyes. In the next moment, the monstrous blood-colored yuan qi gradually gathered and finally, under Ningyu's shocked gaze, quickly condensed into a giant blood-colored palm. Following the barbarian corpse king's angry roar, the giant blood-colored palm whizzed out and completely enveloped Ningyu. Not good. Feeling the surrounding blood-colored palm enveloping him, Ningyu's face darkened. Without saying a word, he rose from the ground and desperately burned his soul power as he flew into the distance. Ningyu had used all his strength in that move just now. Right now, there was not even a trace of yuan qi in his qi whirlpool. Not to mention the barbarian corpse king. Even an ordinary body tempering stage martial artist could kill him. Fortunately, his soul power was extremely strong, reaching peak rank 3. At this time, he used a secret technique to burn his soul power, raising his speed to the limit. What? The barbarian corpse king did not expect that Ningyu could still burst forth with such a powerful speed, and was momentarily stunned. However, just as the barbarian corpse king was in a daze, Ningyu had already disappeared. Damn it! Cursing inwardly, the barbarian corpse king immediately set off, chasing after Ningyu. Shio! Shio! In the forest, two figures, one in front and one behind, were flying at high speed. However, the distance between the two figures was getting shorter and shorter. I need to find a place to recover. Turning his head back to look at the barbarian corpse king that was rapidly approaching, Ningyu's heart sank, and he released his powerful soul force. There's a cave over there. Suddenly, Ningyu's face lit up with joy. He sped up again and ran toward the cave. Swoosh! In front of the cave, Ningyu did not stop at all. With a burst of speed, he rushed in. Ningyu could rush into the cave without any hesitation, but the barbarian corpse king did not do so. He stood in front of the cave with a slight frown. The reason why the barbarian corpse king did not enter the cave immediately was because Ningyu was in the dark and he was in the light. If Ningyu launched a sneak attack, wouldn't he be seeking his own death? After all, Ningyu's move just now had left a shadow in his heart. Ningyu, I advise you to come out obediently. I promise you, as long as you come out, I will definitely spare your life. After pondering for a moment, the barbarian corpse king shouted at the cave. Barbarian corpse king, do you think I'm a fool? If you have the ability, come in. Ningyu's voice came from the cave, carrying a hint of provocation. Hearing this, the barbarian corpse king's eyes turned extremely gloomy. He moved his feet, wanting to rush into the cave. However, just as his right foot stepped into the cave, he retreated. With a cold laugh, the barbarian corpse king said, I will wait here. I don't believe that you will not come out in this lifetime. As he spoke, the barbarian corpse king sat down and guarded the cave. Looking at this posture, he would not give up until Ningyu came out. Inside the cave, Ningyu separated a strand of soul force to constantly pay attention to the barbarian corpse king's movements. After confirming that the barbarian corpse king would not enter the cave for a short period of time, he sat cross-legged, took out a high-grade origin crystal, and circulated the spirit transformation art to absorb it. Because he had used all his strength in that move just now, he had exhausted all the origin chi in his body. Right now, there was not a bit of origin chi in Ningyu's body. As the spirit transformation art circulated, strands of origin chi were drawn into the whirlpool in Ningyu's sea of consciousness. Crack! When the two high-grade origin crystals shattered, the origin chi in one of Ningyu's whirlpools was completely replenished. After another few hours, the other whirlpool's origin chi was also replenished. There is still some origin condensing pills, medicinal energy, left in my body. I should take this opportunity to cultivate properly. In order to resist the barbarian corpse king's all-out attack, Ningyu swallowed the remaining 2 origin condensing pills. The huge amount of medicinal energy had not been completely refined. Now that there was a chance, Ningyu quickly circulated the spirit transformation art and refined the huge amount of medicinal energy in his body. Hiss! As the medicinal energy of the origin condensing pill was refined, strands of energy flowed into the whirlpool. Suppress it for me. Feeling that the whirlpool was about to expand, Ningyu's soul force instantly entered his sea of consciousness and frantically suppressed the whirlpool. Originally, the amount of origin chi in one of Ningyu's whirlpools was equivalent to an early-stage Xiantian martial artist. After this suppression, the amount of origin chi in one whirlpool was comparable to a middle-stage Xiantian martial artist. In other words, the amount of origin chi in Ningyu's body was equivalent to the sum of 2 middle-stage Xiantian martial artists. Bang! Bang! Although Ningyu used his soul force to suppress the whirlpool, as the medicinal energy of the origin condensing pill continued to be refined, he finally could not suppress it anymore. 2 muffled sounds rang out, and the 2 whirlpools doubled in size. Peak Hotian Realm. At this moment, Ningyu broke through the late-stage Hotian Realm and reached the peak Hotian Realm. As the whirlpool doubled in size, the amount of origin chi it could contain also increased. Even after refining all the medicinal energy of the origin condensing pill, it was only enough to fill 1 whirlpool. Shwa! With a flick of his wrist, Ningyu once again took out a high-grade origin crystal and circulated the spirit transformation art to absorb it. After consuming a few more high-grade origin crystals, Ningyu finally filled the other whirlpool. Not bad, not bad. Feeling the intensity of the origin chi in the whirlpool, Ningyu revealed a happy expression. When he was in the late-stage Hotian realm, the amount of origin chi in 1 whirlpool was equivalent to a middle-stage Xiantian martial artist. Now that he had advanced to the peak Hotian realm, the amount of origin chi in 1 whirlpool was comparable to a late-stage Xiantian martial artist. In other words, if he were to face Song Fei now, Ningyu would be able to defeat him in 1 move. Although his strength had increased by a lot, when he thought of the barbarian corpse king outside the cave, his face became somewhat gloomy. The barbarian corpse king was like a stone, pressing down on his heart, making him feel like he could not breathe. According to Ningyu's judgment, even if he advanced to the peak Hotian realm and his strength increased by several times, he would still not be a match for the barbarian corpse king. After all, the barbarian corpse king was a Xiantian full circle, half a step into the true martial realm, and its strength was very strong. This won't do. I can't waste my time here. I have to find a way to leave. The barbarian corpse king was still guarding the cave entrance. It was basically impossible to leave from the cave entrance. Chapter 68. Before proceeding, Ningyu released his soul perception to determine the situation inside the cave. What's going on? Frowning, Ning Yu's soul perception had just advanced 1,000 meters when it encountered an obstacle and was unable to advance any further. According to his soul perception, the 1,000 meters ahead of him was starting to narrow and could only accommodate 2 people side by side. Moreover, there seemed to be a barrier at the narrowing area, causing Ning Yu's soul perception to be unable to advance any further. Forget it! Let's go in first! Thinking of the barbarian corpse king outside the cave, Ning Yu gritted his teeth and walked towards the depths of the cave. Not long later, he arrived at the narrow entrance. Just as he stepped into the narrow passage, Ning Yu felt a wave of cold air. The deeper he went, the heavier the cold air became. Helpless, Ning Yu could only release his Yuan Qi and form a Yuan Qi barrier around his body. With the Yuan Qi barrier protecting his body, the cold air immediately disappeared. After walking for about 15 minutes, Ning Yu arrived at the end of the cave. There's no way out. Standing on the spot, looking at the surrounding stone walls, Ning Yu frowned, because in front of him was an empty piece of land. In the middle of it, there was a protruding stone with a few transparent crystals embedded in it. It's an ice crystal. Seeing the crystals on the stone, Ning Yu's face lit up as if he had a sudden realization. No wonder my soul perception couldn't advance any further after entering the narrow passage. So there's an ice crystal here. Ice crystal was a type of extremely cold crystal. It was said that it was produced in the depths of the sea and could emit a constant stream of cold air. To an ordinary martial artist, the ice crystal was not a good thing because it could suppress soul perception. In the area covered by the ice crystal, soul perception would be greatly restricted and would not be able to unleash its power. But to an alchemist, especially one like Ning Yu who had the memories of a peak 9th-tier alchemist, it was a treasure that couldn't be bought with money, because the ice crystal could be used to refine 2 types of elixirs. Cold crystal pill. Cold crystal pill. The cold crystal pill was a 5th-grade pill that could strengthen one's soul force. Crystal Jade Dan, a 7th-grade Dan. It was the best Dan to repair soul force injuries. Whether it was strengthening one's soul force or repairing damaged soul force, it was extremely precious to an alchemist. On the path of alchemy, if one's soul force wasn't strong enough, then even if one's martial arts cultivation was high, it would still be impossible to refine high-level alchemy pills. At this time, with the grade 5 cold crystal pill, one could temporarily increase their soul force and raise their soul force to the grade 5 level. As for the 7th grade crystal jade pill, it could repair the damage suffered by the soul. No matter how much damage the soul force suffered, as long as there was still a strand of soul force left, then the 7th grade crystal jade pill could completely heal it. Although possessing the cold ice crystal did not mean that he possessed the cold crystal pill and the crystal jade pill, Ning Yu still felt very happy. He walked in front of the protruding stone, wrapped his hands in essence qi, and carefully removed the cold ice crystal. Crack! However, as soon as Ning Yu removed the ice crystal, the protruding stone completely shattered with a crack. Shio! The sudden change caused Ning Yu to be a little stunned. However, just as he was in a daze, a black box suddenly rushed out from the stone and went straight for him. Damn it! This unforeseen event caused Ning Yu's expression to change greatly. He quickly put the cold ice crystal into his storage bag, then clenched his right hand into a fist and punched the box. Crack! In the next moment, there was only a crisp sound, and then the black box was smashed into 2 pieces. Ha ha ha, I'm finally out. Just as the black box broke, a loud laughter rang out. Ning Yu was slightly shocked and quickly took a few steps back and looked into the distance. Who's talking? The essence qi in the cyclone surged, and Ning Yu secretly became alert and asked in a deep voice. That voice sounded again. Are you blind? Can't you see that I'm under your feet? Under my feet? Ning Yu was startled, and his eyes looked down. Under his feet was a black puppy the size of a grain of rice. If one did not look closely, they would not be able to see it. Woof woof! The black puppy barked twice and gradually grew larger, until it was the size of a normal dog. Kid, I see that your bones are amazing. Why don't you learn how to cook for me? The black puppy stood on its hind legs and placed its front paws behind its back, like a swindler. Ning Yu's lips twitched, and he asked again, "What the hell are you?" The black puppy shook its head and said slowly, "I'm not a thing. I'm the Emperor of Darkness. You can call me the Emperor of Darkness." Emperor of Darkness? Ning Yu was a little confused. What the hell was the Emperor of Darkness? He had never heard of it before. The black puppy waved its paws and continued, "Don't worry about my identity for now. Hand over the ice crystals, and I'll spare your life." Ning Yu was startled, and he took out the ice crystals from his storage bag. The black puppy's eyes lit up when it saw the ice crystals in Ning Yu's hand. It lunged at Ning Yu's palm. Whoosh! Who was Ning Yu? How could he let go of the ice crystals that he had gotten his hands on? With a flick of his wrist, he kept the ice crystals back into his storage bag. Kid, you're asking for it. The black puppy was enraged when it missed its target. It's none of your business whether I'm asking for it or not. I advise you to get lost now, or I'll teach you a lesson. Ning Yu shrugged and said calmly. Through his previous observation, Ning Yu had discovered that the black puppy's cultivation was the same as his, the peak of the postliminary realm. At the same cultivation level, Ning Yu, who had 2 energy whirlpools, was not afraid of anyone. No, he was not afraid of any dog. You want me to teach you a lesson? The black puppy bared its sharp teeth, its bright eyes glowing fiercely. It stomped on the ground with its hind legs and charged at Ning Yu. When it reached Ning Yu, the black puppy extended a sharp paw and swiped at Ning Yu's neck. Although it looked a little bloated, its speed was not slow. Ning Yu had been guarding against the black puppy. When its paw swiped at him, Ning Yu struck out with his palm, hitting the puppy's head. It howled in pain and flew backward. Ning Yu looked at his palm, then at the black puppy on the ground. He frowned slightly and asked doubtfully, "Dark Emperor, Dark Emperor?" The black puppy struggled to stand up and said angrily, "Kid, how dare you doubt my title? If not for my cultivation being sealed in the Elixir Dragon Valley, I would have taken your dog. Ah, help, what are you doing? How dare you disrespect the dignified Emperor of Darkness?" Stepping on the black puppy's tail, Ning Yu said coldly, "Tell me, why are you fighting with me over the chilly ice crystal?" With its tail stepped on by Ning Yu, the black puppy rolled its eyes and said, "The chilly ice crystal is a great treasure, priceless. Who wouldn't want it? Is that so? I think you won't shed a tear until you see your coffin." Ning Yu raised his eyebrows. He gathered his essence energy on the sole of his foot and stomped down hard. A powerful force exploded from the black puppy's body. Its body flashed, and it actually escaped from under Ning Yu's foot. Chapter 69. Ning Yu wasted no time. He stomped his right foot on the ground and dashed forward like a phantom. The yuan qi in a cyclone surged and gathered on his wrist. He threw a punch that carried a violent gust of yuan qi and smashed it towards the black puppy's head. F***CK, you actually want to kill me? Feeling the powerful yuan qi, the black puppy retreated, not daring to face it head-on. Bang! However, the black puppy's speed was noticeably slower, and it was struck in the tail by a punch. With a tragic cry, the black puppy fell to the ground. Seeing that Ning Yu was about to attack again, the black puppy hurriedly shouted, Wait, I'll tell you everything. Speak. If you play any more tricks, I don't mind eating a meal of braised dog meat." With yuan qi swirling around his fist, Ning Yu walked over. The black puppy was indeed strong. Its battle prowess was probably comparable to that of a mid-stage Xiantian warrior. Unfortunately, its opponent was Ning Yu. At the current stage, Ning Yu's battle prowess was already comparable to a late-stage Xiantian warrior. With 2 cyclones revolving at the same time, he could even kill a late-stage Xiantian warrior. Seeing Ning Yu walk over, the black puppy hurriedly said, "The 4 ice crystals in your hand are not ordinary ice crystals. They are the keys to open the Medicine Sovereign Palace." Medicine Sovereign Palace? Ning Yu raised an eyebrow and asked doubtfully. This time, the black puppy did not dare to play any tricks. It honestly said, "The Medicine Sovereign Palace is located in the inner valley of Pill Dragon Valley. It is the resting palace of the Medicine Sovereign, the Medicine Sovereign." Medicine Sovereign. Ning Yu's heart skipped a beat, and a look of shock appeared on his face. Alchemists were ranked from grade 1 to grade 10. Alchemists who surpassed grade 10 could be called emperors. In his previous life, Ning Yu was only a peak grade 9 alchemist. He had not even touched the threshold of grade 10 alchemist. He had not come into contact with the level of the Medicine Sovereign. Who would have thought that a small Pill Dragon Valley was the resting palace of the Medicine Sovereign? The black puppy pursed its lips and continued, "Don't think too much about it. The Medicine Sovereign only stayed in Pill Dragon Valley for a short period of time. The Medicine Sovereign Hall inside was created by him at that time." Ning Yu frowned and said, "I heard that the Elixir Dragon Valley is the cave abode of an early-stage, 5th-grade alchemist." The black puppy said, "Pill Dragon Valley is indeed the abode of a 5th-grade primary alchemist, but the Medicine King's palace has nothing to do with it. Back then, when the Medicine King was plotted against by his enemies, he could only use Pill Dragon Valley as a pretense and set up a temporary abode inside." This time, Ning Yu finally understood. This was just a temporary resting place for the Medicine Sovereign. As for the Medicine Sovereign Hall, it was just a temporary cave dwelling. Even if the Medicine Emperor Hall was just a cave that the Medicine Emperor had casually opened up, there would definitely be some treasures and pills left inside. If he could find his alchemy notes, then Ning Yu would have a high chance of advancing to the Alchemy Emperor realm in this lifetime. The black puppy extended its paw and said, "Lad, I've told you everything. Can you give me 2 of the cold ice crystals now? I don't really believe that the cold ice crystals are the key to opening the Medicine King's palace." Shaking his head, Ning Yu said, "Aya, you broke the cold ice crystals." The black puppy was obviously very anxious, and it hurriedly said, "Crack, crack, crack, crack." Without hesitation, Ning Yu threw the 4 cold ice crystals on the ground, shattering them. After the cold ice crystals shattered, 4 golden keys appeared. Swoosh! Seeing the golden keys, the black puppy leaped up and charged forward. Bang! Ning Yu was constantly paying attention to the black puppy. At the instant it leaped out, he kicked out, landing a kick right on its butt. Ouch! With a pathetic cry, the black puppy tucked its tail between its legs, grimacing in pain. Picking up the 4 golden keys on the ground, Ning Yu flicked his wrist and placed them into his storage pouch. "How dare you keep the keys for yourself? Lad, you've angered the Emperor of Darkness. The Emperor of Darkness will not let you eat. Ah, put me down, lad. I admit my mistake, all right? Put me down." Ning Yu took a step forward, grabbed the black puppy by its tail, and swung it around twice before throwing it toward the stone wall. Woof woof! The black puppy barked twice, and its body spun in the air, dodging the attack. "Just now, I seem to have heard you say that your cultivation base was sealed in the Elixir Dragon Valley." Ning Yu unleashed his massive soul pressure, pressing down on the black puppy as he asked, "Peak grade 3 soul power. The strength of your soul power has reached the peak of grade 3. Feeling the soul pressure around it, the black puppy's expression changed slightly. It stood up again and exclaimed, "Your soul power is actually so strong." Soul pressure has no effect on you?" Ning Yu raised an eyebrow, a little shocked. Facing his soul pressure, The black puppy was still jumping around as if nothing had happened. Suddenly, Ningyu's expression changed as he understood the reason. The black puppy was wearing a silver collar around its neck. The silver collar was constantly emitting energy, forming an extremely thin protective barrier around the black puppy, blocking Yangling's soul power outside. Lad, my cultivation base is indeed sealed in the Elixir Dragon Valley. More accurately, it's sealed in the Medicine Emperor's palace. After blocking Ningyu's soul pressure, the black puppy said proudly, "If my cultivation base is completely unsealed, the Emperor of Darkness will not fear anyone. Kill you? All I need to do is move a finger. Lad, how about we make a deal?" The black puppy rolled its eyes and said, "Enter the Medicine Emperor's palace with me and help me remove the seal. From now on, I'll protect you in the celestial spirit realm." Shaking his head, Ningyu said, "If I help you remove the seal, what if you attack me?" The black puppy was enraged. "How dare you doubt the great Emperor of Darkness? I, the Emperor of Darkness, am a man of my word. I never go back on my word." After a moment's deliberation, Ningyu said, "How about this? As long as you agree to one condition of mine, I can enter the Medicine Emperor's palace with you and help you remove the seal." "Are you serious?" The black puppy's eyes lit up. "Of course. I'm much more reliable than you, the Emperor of Darkness." Ningyu said, "There's a Khanate complete perfection martial artist chasing me outside the cave. If you can kill him, I'll help you remove the seal." Khanate complete perfection. Hearing this, the black puppy's mouth twitched a few times, clearly speechless. Its cultivation base was only at the peak of the post-liminary realm, even weaker than Ningyu. How could it be a match for an existence that could chase after Ningyu? "Forget it. Looks like your abilities are limited." Seeing the black puppy's reaction, Ningyu shrugged. "If that's the case, looks like there's no need for us to work together." "Lad, oh no." The black puppy was about to speak, but its expression changed drastically. Its fur stood on end, and it instantly jumped behind Ningyu. Swoosh! Chapter 70. Barbarian Corpse King. Ningyu's expression was extremely gloomy as he looked at the figure that had appeared before him. Ningyu's expression was extremely ugly. He had focused all his attention on the black puppy, allowing the Barbarian Corpse King to enter the cave. "Ningyu Dai." The Barbarian Corpse King took a step forward, and the majestic Yuan energy in his body instantly swept out, turning into rays of cold light that bombarded Ningyu's head from all directions. The Barbarian Corpse King had made up his mind to attack with all his might. He had to kill Ningyu with lightning speed. Whoosh! Feeling the powerful Yuan energy pressure from the Barbarian Corpse King, Ningyu's eyes turned solemn. He took a deep breath, stomped his feet on the ground, and dashed out like lightning. He formed a seal with both hands, and palm prints appeared in the air, fiercely smashing towards the Barbarian Corpse King. Boom! The powerful Yuan energy cold light and the extremely sharp palm prints collided with each other under the black puppy's horrified gaze, producing a muffled sound. "Ningyu, I didn't expect your strength to increase again." The Barbarian Corpse King's expression was extremely ugly and livid. Fearing that something unexpected would happen, he used a secret technique to conceal his aura, quietly appeared before Ningyu, and launched a lightning-fast attack. He had originally thought that he could kill Ningyu in one move. Who would have thought that Ningyu's strength would not decrease, but instead increase, becoming stronger than when he was outside the cave? Immediately, the Barbarian Corpse King's eyes turned cold. His legs slightly bent, and like a cheetah, he streaked across the air, charging straight at Ningyu. Hiss, hiss! The extremely fast figure appeared in front of Ningyu in a flash. The sharp sound of wind whistling, accompanied by violent Yuan energy, slashed towards Ningyu's head with lightning speed. Netherworld, Samsara Palm, solitary name, Facing such a powerful attack from the barbarian Corpse King, Ning Yu's pupils shrank. The yuan energy in the two cyclones frantically moved, and all of it rushed out, gathering in his right palm. Go! In the next moment, as Ning Yu shouted, a tangible palm instantly appeared above the barbarian Corpse King's head and slashed at its neck. This time, Ning Yu had almost emptied the two cyclones of yuan qi. Furthermore, he had mixed all his soul force into the palm print, hoping to force back the barbarian Corpse King with a single strike. Bang! A muffled sound rang out. Ning Yu's body fell backward and finally hit the stone wall with a bang. After all, the barbarian Corpse King was a warrior at the Xiantian consummate realm. Its strength was valiant. Even though Ning Yu's cultivation had reached the peak of the post-liminary realm and he had used his full strength, he was still not a match for the barbarian Corpse King. Die! The corner of the barbarian Corpse King's mouth curled up as he forcefully suppressed the shock in his heart. He leaped up again and lifted his leg, bringing with it a violent energy fluctuation as he kicked at Ning Yu's head. Xiao! However, just as the barbarian Corpse King leaped up, a cold light suddenly attacked him. Not good. The sudden change caused the barbarian Corpse King to panic. He forcefully stopped his body in the air, formed a seal with both hands, and struck at the cold light. Go! In the blink of an eye, the black dog instantly grew bigger. It exerted a little force on its front paws and threw Ning Yu onto its back. Then it accelerated and disappeared from the barbarian Corpse King's sight. Courting death! Seeing that Ning Yu had been rescued, the barbarian Corpse King was furious. The yuan qi in the cyclones became violent and continuously poured into its legs. The barbarian Corpse King raised its speed to the limit and chased out of the cave. After the black dog brought Ning Yu out of the cave, it did not slow down. Instead, its speed increased again. Due to its extreme speed, the black dog's fur stood on end again. It stuck out its tongue and panted heavily. Brat, I've risked my life this time. You can't drop the ball at this crucial moment. After we enter the medicine sovereign palace, you must help me remove the seal on my cultivation. The black dog turned its head and said as it flew at full speed. Thank you, Dark Emperor. Sitting on the back of the black dog, Ning Yu closed his eyes and quickly circulated the spirit transformation art, absorbing the high-grade yuan qi to replenish the yuan qi he had expended. That attack just now had exhausted all the yuan qi in the two cyclones. Even his soul force was extremely weak. A weak soul force meant that he could not burn his soul force to increase his speed. At this moment, without the black dog's help, Ning Yu might very well be killed by the barbarian Corpse King. Therefore, he was extremely grateful to the black dog. Brat, hurry up and give me the high-grade yuan qi. The Dark Emperor ignored Ning Yu's words and stared at the high-grade yuan qi. My yuan qi is being depleted too quickly. If I don't have yuan qi to replenish it, I might be caught by that old fart. Hearing that, Ning Yu was stunned. Then, with a flick of his wrist, he took out a storage bag and passed it to the Dark Emperor. Right now, Ning Yu had two storage bags. One was Zhang Wenyong's and the other was Wu Yong's. He placed the devouring jade bangle and soul severing sword in Wu Yong's storage bag. The storage bag he got from Zhang Wenyong was used to store the yuan qi. Crack! Receiving the storage bag, the Dark Emperor took out a high-grade yuan qi and casually threw it into his mouth, chewing it like a candy. Seeing that, the corner of Ning Yu's mouth twitched. He thought that the speed at which he refined the crystals was already fast enough, but who would have thought that the Emperor of Darkness was even faster? He didn't even absorb it, but directly swallowed it into his stomach, swallowing a piece at a time. He was much stronger than the young dragon eagle. Very good. With these high-grade yuan qi, that old fart can forget about catching up to me. After swallowing a high-grade yuan qi, the Dark Emperor's speed doubled. The necklace around his neck emitted a ray of light that wrapped around his body. Brett, sit tight. With that, the Dark Emperor shot out like a rocket. The whistling wind brushed past Ningyu's ears. If it wasn't for the fact that Ningyu had recovered some Yuan Qi, he would have fallen off the Dark Emperor's back. Damn it! Originally, the barbarian Corpse King was able to follow closely behind the Dark Emperor. Now that the Dark Emperor sped up, he instantly disappeared from his sight. Moreover, the Dark Emperor and Ningyu's auras were faintly discernible. In the end, they disappeared. Losing the Dark Emperor's vision and the unfathomable aura caused the barbarian Corpse King to fail. After chasing like a headless fly for a few hours, the barbarian Corpse King finally gave up and returned to where Ning Xian was. However, when he returned, he found that all the peak post-liminary realm experts of the Corpse-Een sect had been killed. Ning Xian, Han Feng, and the others had also disappeared. Ningyu, I will tear you into 1,000 pieces. The barbarian Corpse King roared and released his aura, causing the surrounding demonic beasts to retreat. At the same time, the Dark Emperor carried Ningyu and continued to fly. With the replenishment of high-grade Yuan Qi, the Dark Emperor was like a train that didn't know fatigue. In the evening, after confirming that they had lost the barbarian Corpse King, the Dark Emperor slowed down and landed. No, I'm too tired. I'll rest for a day. Tomorrow morning, we'll enter the Pill Dragon Valley's inner valley. The Dark Emperor waved his claws and collapsed to the ground, panting heavily. Enter the Pill Dragon Valley's inner valley tomorrow morning? Could it be? Frowning, Ningyu looked into the distance. Chapter 71. At the entrance of Pill Dragon Valley's inner valley, dozens of young warriors had already gathered. Most of them were at the early and peak Hotian level. There were only a few Xiantian level warriors. These warriors gathered in groups of 2s and 3s, discussing something from time to time. In a spacious area, 2 martial artists were chatting. Zhang Wenyong, that bastard won't dare to come over, will he? A middle-aged man frowned, looking a little worried. I've said it before. There's no need for a life-and-death duel with him. I'll just kill him. The middle-aged man was none other than the pavilion master of Drunken Cloud Pavilion, Song Fei. Song Fei hated Ningyu, and so did Zhang Wenyong. They both wanted to kill Ningyu. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Therefore, the two of them formed a temporary alliance. The location of the life-and-death duel was outside Pill Dragon Valley. Now, we're at the entrance of Pill Dragon Valley's inner valley. Waving his hand, Zhang Wenyong said lightly, there's no hurry. Let's wait a little longer. I've received news that 3 days ago, Ningyu left with Wu Yong and the others. They're heading for Pill Dragon Valley. Zhang Wenyong, when Ningyu shows up, can you let me exchange a few blows with him first? Song Fei said fiercely. In his opinion, the life-and-death duel between Ningyu and Zhang Wenyong was a sure thing. Ning, you would be the loser in the end. He wanted to teach Ningyu a lesson before Ningyu and Zhang Wenyong fought. Otherwise, the hatred in his heart would not be appeased. Song Fei Ningyu is a 3-star consecrator of Snow Pavilion. He might have powerful warriors from Snow Pavilion protecting him. Do you dare to teach him a lesson? Zhang Wenyong said with a smile. Swoosh! Hearing Zhang Wenyong's words, Song Fei's face changed. Yes, Ningyu was a 3-star consecrator of Snow Pavilion. He would definitely have powerful warriors from Snow Pavilion protecting him in Pill Dragon Valley. Although he was at the late stage of the Xiantian level, there was still a world of difference between him and the powerhouses of the Snow Pavilion. Zhang Wenyong was different. The Zhang family's warriors had already arrived. As long as the Snow Pavilion warriors dared to intervene in the life and death battle between Zhang Wenyong and Ningyu, the Zhang family's warriors would not sit idly by. Xiu! Xiu! Right at this moment, the rumbling sound of wind being torn apart suddenly resounded from the distant horizon. The moment the sound of wind breaking rang out, a few figures dashed over. The The sound of the wind breaking attracted the attention of the surrounding cultivators. Their eyes filled with shock. Xia Linxian! Zhang Wenyong raised his head and clenched his fists involuntarily. His pupils constricted as he stared at the figure that had suddenly appeared. Whoosh! 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 Following that, several more figures streaked across the void and landed steadily. Zhang Wenyong's expression became uglier and uglier as his gaze slowly swept across the few figures that appeared after him. This was because he did not discover the figure that had caused him to lose face. Xia Linxian, I didn't expect you to come here too. Since he did not discover Ningyu, Zhang Wenyong decided to ignore him and said in a low voice. In the capital, he had always been suppressed by Xia Linxian. Now that he had broken through 2 levels consecutively and reached the middle stage of the Khanate realm, he was confident that he could fight Xia Linxian. Xia Linxian glanced at Zhang Wenyong and did not speak. Instead, he found a random place and quietly waited for the Pale Dragon Valley's inner valley to open. Seeing that Xia Linxian had ignored him, Zhang Wenyong clenched his fists so tightly that cracking sounds could be heard. I'll let you be cocky for a while. After I kill Ningyu, I'll settle the score with you. Although Zhang Wenyong's expression was ugly after being ignored, he did not act rashly. After all, Xia Linxian was powerful, and he did not want to fight with Xia Linxian too early. If both sides were to suffer, it would not be worth it if he failed miserably when fighting with Ningyu. Therefore, Zhang Wenyong chose to endure. Wu Yong, where is Ningyu? Looking at Wu Yong, Zhang Wenyong said coldly, Didn't he enter the Pale Dragon Valley with you? Wu Yong could not be bothered with Zhang Wenyong. He found a rock and sat down, choosing to close his eyes and rest. After refining the supreme essence, condensing pill, given by Ningyu, Wu Yong successfully reached the middle stage of the Khanate realm. He was not afraid of Zhang Wenyong at all. Damn it! Zhang Wenyong's lungs were about to explode. It was one thing for Xia Linxian to ignore him, but he did not expect that Wu Yong would also ignore his words. Swoosh! Rising from the ground, Zhang Wenyong threw a punch at Wu Yong's head. His heart skipped a beat. Wu Yong stood up in an instant. The yuan qi in his body surged and gathered on his fist. He threw a punch at Zhang Wenyong. Bang! The 2 fists collided and a crisp sound was heard. Zhang Wenyong took 3 steps back before he could dissipate the force from his fist. His face was a little ugly. As for Wu Yong, he took 5 steps back before he could dissipate the force from his fist. You have also reached the middle stage of the Khanate realm. Zhang Wenyong's face was extremely gloomy. He had worked hard and even had the help of the experts in his family to reach the middle stage of the Khanate realm. But Wu Yong had also easily reached the middle stage of the Khanate realm. This made him want to vomit blood. What? Middle stage of the Khanate realm? He is a middle stage Khanate realm martial artist? It should be. The power from that blow has surpassed the limit of the post-liminary realm. It has reached the Khanate realm. Zhang Wenyong's words caused a huge uproar. Everyone was talking about it. After all, most of the martial artists were at the post-liminary realm. How could they not be shocked when a middle-stage Khanate realm martial artist who was about the same age as them suddenly appeared? Zhang Wenyong, are you the only one allowed to reach the middle-stage Khanate realm, but I can't? Wu Yong said coldly. Good, very good. Zhang Wenyong's face was getting uglier and uglier. His chest was heaving up and down, and he was on the verge of exploding. Suddenly, Zhang Wenyong saw Ning Xian lying on the ground. His heart skipped a beat, and his face lit up with joy. After deciding on the death match with Ningyu, Zhang Wenyong had sent people to investigate the Ning family. He knew who was in the Ning family and the cultivation level of the ancestor. Now, he recognized Ning Xian at a glance. Wu Yong, I won't talk nonsense with you. Hand over Ning Xian, and I won't lower myself to your level. Zhang Wenyong's lips curled up as he calmly said. Zhang Wenyong, what do you want? Before Wu Yong could speak, Lu Wei scolded. Ning Xian is an honored guest of the Snow Pavilion. What are you trying to do? Hee don't misunderstand. I have a good relationship with Ning Yu. When I saw that his brother's leg was broken, I wanted to ask the elders of the family to reattach it. Zhang Wenyong smiled innocently. Those who didn't know better would think that he was telling the truth. Call me Lu Wei, Lu Wei said angrily. With me here, don't try to play any tricks. No harm. I just want to save Ning Xian. Zhang Wenyong shrugged. He put his right hand behind his back and snapped his fingers. Swoosh! Then a cold light appeared out of thin air and appeared in front of Ning Xian. It grabbed Ning Xian and lifted him up. Damn it! The sudden change angered Xia Linxian. He stood up and waved his giant sword. A ray of light shot out and slashed at the empty air. Xia Linxian's sword was so powerful that it could rival the peak Khanate level. However, after the ray of light shot into the empty air, it disappeared as if it was swallowed. Chapter 72. Swoosh! Seeing that Ning Xian was captured, Ning Yu's face instantly darkened. He clenched his fists and was about to rush forward to rescue him. Wait, don't act rashly. The Dark Emperor pressed on Ning Yu's shoulder and said solemnly, I can feel at least 6 or 7 powerful auras in the surroundings. Any one of them is stronger than the old fogey that is chasing us. 6 or 7 powerful auras. Ning Yu's face changed, and he was a little shocked. He quickly released the soul power that he had just recovered and scanned the surroundings. This probing was not a big deal, but it gave him quite a shock. He discovered that there were a total of 7 terrifying auras at the entrance of the Pill Dragon Valley. Indeed, the weakest was many times stronger than the barbarian Corpse King. If I'm not wrong, there should be 4 at the early stage of the true martial realm and 2 at the middle stage of the true martial realm. The Dark Emperor frowned slightly and said with a grave expression, There's even one whose aura is so weak that even I can't catch his aura. It should be the Zhang family experts. Ning Yu clenched his fists and a cold expression flashed across his face as he said fiercely. When he was in the Snow Domain Pavilion, he heard from Wu Yong and Lu Wei that the Zhang family experts would rush over to help Zhang Wenyong. Now it seemed that the hidden experts were most likely from the Zhang family. Taking a deep breath and forcefully suppressing the anger in his heart, Ning Yu did not make a move. The Dark Emperor was right. If he went out now, he would be courting death. Not to mention 7 or 8 true martial realm experts. He wouldn't even be a match for a Xiantian great perfection martial artist. If he encountered a true martial realm expert, there was no way he could survive. All right, Dark Emperor, if we don't go out, how are we going to enter the Pill Dragon Valley? How do we get to the Medicine King Palace? Suddenly, Ning Yu seemed to have thought of something and asked. After all, their destination was the Medicine King Palace, which was in the Pill Dragon Valley. The Dark Emperor waved his paw and said, Don't worry, there is more than one entrance to the Pill Dragon Valley. Slightly taken aback, Ning Yu said, Is there another entrance? Why haven't I heard of it? Rolling his eyes at Ning Yu, the Dark Emperor said, There are many things you haven't heard of. There are a total of 2 entrances to the Pill Dragon Valley. If you want to enter from the other entrance, you have to open this entrance. Rumble. Suddenly, a rumbling sound rang out. Then, the entrance of Pill Dragon Valley started to shake. The entrance is about to open. Seeing this, the Dark Emperor's eyes were filled with joy. He took a deep breath and said, Hurry up and recover. 1 day later, we will enter the inner valley from another entrance. As he spoke, the Dark Emperor took out more than 10 high-grade essence crystals from his storage bag, threw them all into his mouth, chewed them, and began refining them. Ning Yu knew that the person Zhang Wenyong wanted to deal with was him, not Ning Xian. So Ning Xian was temporarily fine. After thinking for a moment, he took a few high-grade origin crystals from the Dark Emperor and circulated the spirit transformation art. slowly absorbing them. Crack! At the entrance of Pill Dragon Valley, Zhang Wenyong looked at Ning Xian, who was thrown at his feet. Just as he was about to speak, his expression changed. A cracking sound rang out. Then, the stone door at the entrance of the inner valley suddenly exploded with a bang. Immediately after, an extremely powerful wave of yuan qi swept out from the inner valley, like a shocking hurricane. Charge! The inner valley of Pill Dragon Valley is open. Everyone go in quickly. Yes, Pill Dragon Valley is the cave of a 5th grade pill master. There must be a lot of treasures and pills inside. If I can get a supreme essence condensing pill, I might be able to advance to the middle stage of the Khanate realm. As soon as the stone door exploded, the figures in front of the valley turned into countless rays of cold light and rushed out, rushing to the stone door in the blink of an eye. All of you get out of my way. However, just as these people stepped into the valley, a deep roar resounded. Then everyone saw an extremely strange black figure shuttling around, repeatedly striking out several seals, and all of them blasted on these cultivators. Bang! 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 A low, muffled sound resounded through the area. After that, countless restless figures stopped in their tracks with a swish. They looked at the pitch-black figure standing at the stone door with faces filled with terror. If you want to enter Pill Dragon Valley, you can, but you will have to wait for 2 hours. Slowly sweeping his gaze across the crowd in front of the valley, the black-robed figure said sinisterly, "Wait for young Master Zhang to enter for 2 hours before you can enter." Swoosh! At this moment, Zhang Wenyong's figure flashed and instantly rushed into the valley. Damn it! The overbearing behavior of the Zhang family made the surrounding young martial artists very angry. Although there were experts from big families and geniuses from big sects among them, they still did not dare to act rashly in the face of the black-robed figure. "Lu Wei, when are we going in?" Xia Linxian asked with a slight frown. "Another day. Ning, you asked us to wait for 3 days," Lu Wei said in a deep voice. To Lu Wei, if she wanted to enter Pill Dragon Valley, the black-robed figure would not dare to stop her. After all, she represented the Snow Pavilion. Although the Zhang family was one of the top families in the capital, the Snow Pavilion was not weak either. All right, let's wait a little longer. At the mention of Ningyu, Xia Linxian's face turned solemn. Ningyu lured away the innate, complete, realm barbarian corpse king to buy them a chance to save Ningxian. Now that Ningxian was being held hostage by the Zhang family, he felt very guilty. At the side, Wu Yong, Yin Chang, and the others were not looking good either. They had taken benefits from Ningyu, but failed to help Ningyu. They all hated the Zhang family. Swoosh! 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 Following that, many young martial artists arrived. They wanted to enter Pill Dragon Valley immediately, but when they saw the black-robed figure standing at the entrance, they all chose to stop. Swoosh! 2 hours later, when the black-robed figure disappeared, the crowd of martial artists swarmed into Pill Dragon Valley like locusts. Let's go too. A day later, Lu Wei took a deep breath. Her face was a little gloomy. She carried the dragon eagle hatchling and rushed into the inner valley. Behind her, Xia Linxian and the others did not dare to delay and quickly followed. At the same time, Ningyu and the Dark Emperor had already entered the inner valley from another entrance. As the Dark Emperor was in a hurry to remove the cultivation seal on his body, Ningyu temporarily gave up the urge to plunder the Pill Dragon Valley and followed the Dark Emperor deeper into the valley. On the way, Ningyu wanted to stop a few times because he could feel the thick elixir aura in the stone room beside him. That aura could only be emitted by at least a tier 3 elixir. Suddenly, Ningyu's face changed, and he and the Dark Emperor hurriedly came to a halt, because the road ahead of them was blocked. To be more precise, it was blocked by a man and 2 demonic beasts who were fighting. Horned Dragon Beast, Tier 3 late-stage demonic beast. Looking at the 2 demonic beasts, Ningyu's heart skipped a beat because he realized that the 2 demonic beasts had reached late stage tier 3, which was equivalent to a late stage innate realm martial artist. Superior essence condensing pill. Chapter 73. So powerful. After forcing the 2 dragons to retreat, Xiao Yunlan retreated to the other side. She flicked her wrist and kept the essence condensing pills into her storage pouch. After entering the inner valley of Pill Dragon Valley, Xiao Yunlan used her 2nd grade advanced stage alchemist sharp senses to search and finally found a few essence condensing pills in a stone room. Xiao Yunlan was elated. After all, she was a middle stage innate. If she refined a few essence condensing pills, she would have a high chance of advancing to the late stage innate. Without thinking much, she entered the stone room and kept the essence condensing pills. However, as soon as she kept the essence condensing pills, 2 dragons appeared in the air and attacked her. She had no choice but to fight the dragons in a hurry. Not long after exchanging blows, she felt that she was not a match for the horned dragon. No, I have to find a way to leave. The dragons were 3rd grade advanced stage demonic beasts after all. Their strength was equivalent to a late stage innate warrior. If not for the fact that Xiao Yunlan had a grade 2 advanced stage soul power, he would have been completely obliterated by the 2 horned dragons. Xiao Yunlan's face was solemn. She knew that with her strength, she had no hope of winning. The only thing he could do now was to think of a way to leave this place. Only then would he have a chance at survival. Roar! Roar! Just as Xiao Yunlan retreated, the 2 horned dragon beast roared and quickly attacked her from both sides. Damn it! Cursing inwardly, Xiao Yunlan's toes touched the ground, and he quickly retreated. Ningyu! However, as soon as she took a few steps back, Xiao Yunlan was startled, because she saw a familiar figure. Watch out! Seeing Xiao Yunlan in a daze, Ningyu sped up and pulled her back. Swoosh! Swoosh! At the same time, the 2 dragons missed their target. Hiss! After reacting, Xiao Yunlan sucked in a breath of cold air. If not for Ningyu, she would have been hit by the dragon's horn. You know me. Frowning, Ningyu was a little confused. He had never seen Xiao Yunlan before, but she knew him. Blinking, Xiao Yunlan said, You are Ningyu, Snow Pavilion's 3rd star official. The whole Tianqian city knows you. Roar! Just then, the 2 horned dragon beasts were completely enraged and rushed towards Ningyu and Xiao Yunlan with all their might. Bang! With no time to think, Ningyu's energy whirlpool surged with vital qi, and he threw a punch, hitting a horned dragon. Ningyu had used almost all of his strength in this attack. The horned dragon was pushed back several feet by his powerful attack and eventually crashed into the stone wall. The horned dragon beast is a late-stage 3rd rank demonic beast, but Ningyu is actually able to repel it in one move. Xiao Yunlan's mouth was slightly agape, and his face was filled with disbelief. She had also thought that a warrior who was praised by Elder Guan would not be weak, but she did not expect him to be so powerful. Even though he was shocked, Xiao Yunlan's hands weren't idle. With a flick of his wrist, he summoned his flying sword and engaged in a fierce battle with the other horned dragon. Her cultivation was at the middle stage of the Xiantian realm. Moreover, she was a late-stage 2nd grade alchemist, so her soul power was not weak. He might not be able to deal with 2 horned dragons, but he could easily deal with 1 horned dragon. Swish! The Dark Emperor did not want to wait any longer. He instantly moved and joined the battle, fighting against the horned dragons with Xiao Yunlan. The Dark Emperor was at the peak of the post-liminary realm, and his strength was equivalent to a middle-stage Xiantian realm warrior. When he joined forces with Xiao Yunlan, the horned dragons did not last for long and were defeated. Roar, roar! With 2 loud roars, the 2 horned dragons' figures flashed, and they escaped from this place. Even though Ningyu and his group were not weak, It was basically impossible to kill the horned dragons without spending a lot of effort. Furthermore, Ning Yu did not intend to kill the horned dragons. After all, his destination was the Medicine Sovereign Palace, and it was not suitable for him to waste too much vital qi and deplete his strength. If there was any danger in the Medicine Sovereign Palace, wouldn't he suffer a great loss? He wouldn't even have tears to cry. Ningyu, your pet dog is so strong. Seeing the two horned dragons escape, Xiao Yunlan turned around and looked at the Dark Emperor in surprise. The Dark Emperor could not be bothered with Xiao Yunlan. He rolled his eyes at her and then disappeared in a few leaps. At this moment, Xiao Yunlan had suffered a great blow. It was one thing for Ningyu to be stronger than her, but even a dog was stronger than her. Furthermore, this dog actually ignored her, which made her very sad. Ningyu, why is your dog so hot-tempered? Aren't you going to control it? Xiao Yunlan said angrily. It's not my pet dog, it's not. It's hard to explain to you. I have something to do now, so I have to leave first. Be careful. When Ning Yu saw the Dark Emperor leave, he hurriedly bade farewell to Xiao Yunlan and quickly chased after him. Ning Yu, remember, my name is Xiao Yunlan. Xiao Yunlan stomped her feet and said loudly, Elder Guan, even you can't see through Ningyu. His strength is already infinitely close to the Xiantian full circle. Xiao Yunlan frowned slightly. She took a deep breath and thought for a moment. In the end, she did not continue deeper, but turned her head and entered another fork. The horned dragons left towards the depths of this passage. Xiao Yunlan did not have absolute confidence in dealing with them, so she could only choose another fork. Swish! Swish! In the depths of the passage, the Dark Emperor and Ningyu advanced side by side, their speed extremely fast. After traveling at full speed for about 15 minutes, they stopped at the end of the passage. Dark Emperor, where is the Medicine Emperor Palace? Looking at the stone wall in front of him, Ningyu said doubtfully, There is no longer a path here. Don't tell me you have forgotten where the Medicine Emperor Palace is. The Medicine Emperor Palace is inside. The Dark Emperor's expression was solemn, and he said solemnly, Step back. I am going to use my secret technique. Hearing this, Ningyu hurriedly retreated. The Dark Emperor instantly grew larger, and with a stomp of his hind legs, he suddenly accelerated. Bang! Seeing the Dark Emperor's actions, Ningyu was a little speechless. Originally, he thought that the Dark Emperor would use his secret technique to find the entrance to the Medicine Emperor Palace. Who would have thought that it would actually use its body to ram against the stone wall? Clang! Clang! Every time the Dark Emperor rammed against the stone wall, not only did the stone wall tremble, even its body started to sway. If not for the fact that he knew that the Dark Emperor's physique was powerful, Ningyu would even suspect that the Dark Emperor would fall first before the stone wall was smashed open. Kacha! Kacha! As the Dark Emperor rammed time and time again, fine cracks appeared on the stone wall, and they gradually expanded. Bang! Finally, the instant the Dark Emperor's body was sent flying, a muffled bang sounded out, and then the stone wall completely cracked. After the stone wall cracked, a yellow bronze door surged out from within. On the bronze door there were 2 dents, which were the keyholes. Ningyu, give me 2 keys. Seeing the bronze door, the Dark Emperor's face lit up, and he hurriedly said. Ningyu did not dare to delay, and he tossed the 2 golden keys to the Dark Emperor. Boom! The moment the key was inserted into the keyhole, the bronze door rumbled and slowly rose from the bottom to the top. A moment later, when the bronze door rose by 1/3, the Dark Emperor sped up and rushed in. Chapter 74. 1. As soon as he entered the bronze door, Ningyu felt a surge of dense origin energy surging towards him. The origin energy was so dense that it was comparable to some blessed abodes. If I cultivate here, I believe it won't take long for me to break through to the Xiantian realm. Ning Yu's face was burning with desire. Although the speed at which the spirit transformation technique absorbed essence qi was very fast and could completely absorb the essence qi in a high-grade essence crystal in a few hours, the quality of the essence qi in the high-grade essence crystal was a level lower than the essence qi here. The quality of the origin energy in the hall was comparable to the origin energy in top-grade origin crystals. What are you standing there for? Give me a key. I'll go to the left hall first. At this moment, the Dark Emperor shouted, As for you, wait here. Once I call for you, enter the left hall immediately to help. Hearing this, Ningyu recovered from his shock and looked over. There were 2 miniature bronze doors on his left and right, and there was a keyhole on each of them. Swoosh! With a flick of his wrist, Ningyu tossed a golden key to the Dark Emperor. After catching the key, the Dark Emperor inserted it into the keyhole and opened the bronze door on the left. Swish! After that, the Dark Emperor sped up and charged into the left hall. Seeing the Dark Emperor enter the left hall, Ningyu didn't stay on the spot. Instead, he flashed to the door of the right hall. Should I open it or not? Holding the golden key in his hand, Ningyu was slightly hesitant. The Dark Emperor didn't tell him what was in the right hall. If there was any danger, he would probably suffer with his current strength. However, Ningyu determined that there was definitely a powerful pill in the right hall. Or rather, there was some kind of artifact. Because he was standing in front of the bronze door of the right palace, he had a special sensitivity towards elixirs. He could feel an aura that moved his heart. This aura could only be emitted by a 7th-grade elixir. Let's go in. Gritting his teeth, Ningyu inserted the golden key into the keyhole. Creak! In the next moment, the bronze door slowly opened. As the bronze door opened bit by bit, the heat on Ningyu's face became more and more intense. In the end, he shot out like an arrow and rushed in before the bronze door completely opened. The space in the right hall was not big, and it was completely empty. However, Ningyu's unique sense of smell as an alchemist still managed to find some clues. It's a hidden compartment. His soul power penetrated 3 feet into the stone wall. Ningyu found 3 hidden compartments. The secret compartment, left behind by the medicine sovereign, must have pills inside, or in other words, precious herbs. Suppressing the heat in his heart, Ningyu tried to calm himself down and took a few deep breaths. It was because he deduced that the arrangement of the hidden compartments in the stone wall was very particular. They were arranged in an extremely brilliant way. Even if an ordinary martial artist discovered the hidden compartment without the corresponding method, it would be impossible to remove it from the stone wall. Once the method of removing the hidden compartment was incorrect, the hidden compartment would explode on its own, destroying everything inside. Luckily, I know the method to remove the hidden compartment. Otherwise, I would only be able to stare at it. Trying hard to calm himself down, Ningyu used his soul power to carefully remove the hidden compartment. In his previous life, Ningyu was a peak 9th realm alchemist. He was fortunate enough to come across such a brilliant method. Otherwise, even if his soul power recovered to the peak 9th realm, he would not be able to remove the hidden compartment. Because Ningyu's soul power was only at the peak 3rd realm. Even if he knew the method, it was still a little difficult. Not long after, he was sweating profusely. However, Ningyu did not dare to move. His soul power was highly concentrated. If he was not careful, all his efforts would be in vain. Bang, bang, bang. After about an hour, following 3 muffled sounds, Ningyu finally relaxed. He let out a long breath and carefully removed the 3 hidden compartments. After calming down the excitement in his heart, Ningyu opened the first hidden compartment. It turned out to be cold crystal pills, crystal jade pills. As soon as the hidden compartment was opened, Ningyu's face was full of shock. In the hidden compartment, there were 5 or 6 pills neatly placed. These pills exuded a faint cold air. They were crystal clear and had a beautiful color. 4 cold crystal pills, 2 crystal jade pills. Ning Yu quickly took out the pills and put them in his storage bag. Taking a deep breath, Ning Yu slowly opened the second hidden compartment. In the second hidden compartment, there were no pills. Instead, there was a dark green ring lying flat inside. Could it be a storage ring? Slightly frowning, Ning Yu did not try to check the rank of the ring. Instead, he opened the third hidden compartment. In the third hidden compartment, there was only a blank piece of paper without a word on it. A piece of paper written with soul power. Narrowing his eyes, Ning Yu was a little shocked. In order to read a piece of paper written with soul power, one had to use one's soul power and understand soul calligraphy. Up until now, Ning Yu was more and more impressed by the drug sovereign. The way he placed the hidden compartment was unique. Any piece of soul paper placed on the mainland would be the target of everyone's desire. Ning Yu knew a little bit about soul calligraphy. Thus, he no longer hesitated and sent his soul power into the paper. As he read the words on the paper, Ning Yu's eyes became more and more shocked. In the end, a hint of joy appeared on his face. The words on the paper were written by the drug sovereign. The drug sovereign hall was indeed a temporary abode that the drug sovereign had opened up. At that time, he was being chased by his enemies. Helpless, he could only use Pill Dragon Valley as a cover to open up a cave abode to avoid being chased by his enemies. The first hidden compartment contained the cold crystal pill, crystal jade pill. It was just an elixir that the drug sovereign had casually refined using the ice crystals left behind by the drug sovereign. The second hidden compartment contained a storage ring. The soul power imprint inside had already been removed by the drug sovereign. As long as one imprinted their soul power into the storage ring, they would be able to control the storage ring. Inside the storage ring were the herbs that the drug sovereign had found in the magical Beast Mountain Range and Pill Dragon Valley. There were quite a lot of them, but their grades were low. Most of them were herbs needed to refine elixirs below grade 5. At the end of the paper, the drug sovereign mentioned the Dark Emperor. The Dark Emperor was from the Heaven-Devouring Hound clan. At that time, it was being chased by other Heaven-Devouring Hounds. Coincidentally, the drug sovereign passed by and saved it. After saving the Dark Emperor, the drug sovereign temporarily sealed its body in the cave and sealed its cultivation in the left hall to prevent the Heaven-Devouring Hounds from discovering its aura. Boom! After reading the words on the paper, it burst into flames and turned into ashes. So the Dark Emperor is a Heaven-Devouring Hound. Ning Yu had always felt that the Dark Emperor had a special identity. He didn't expect it to be from the Heaven-Devouring Hound clan. No wonder it was like a normal dog after swallowing several high-grade essence crystals. Swoosh! Without thinking too much, Ning Yu extended his soul power and imprinted the soul power imprint on the storage ring. As soon as his soul power imprinted on the storage ring, Ning Yu saw what was inside the storage ring. The space is so big. Ning Yu's mouth was slightly agape because the storage ring had a space of 1,000 cubic meters. Furthermore, there were a lot of medicinal herbs scattered around the storage ring. Green jade grass, dark night dew, snow silkworm, camel peak flower. Chapter 75. The Soul Enchanting Pill was a peak 4th grade pill. It could help a martial artist imprint their soul power into a flying sword. Once he refined the soul imprint pill, then Ning Yu could imprint his soul force into the soul-breaking sword and control this heaven-rank flying sword from there. After the joy, Ning Yu calmed down. The soul enchanting pill was a peak 4th grade pill, and his soul power was only at the peak of 3rd grade. Although he was experienced in his previous life, his soul power was only at the peak of 3rd grade. It was impossible for him to refine a peak 4th grade pill. right? The icy crystal pill. Suddenly, Ningyu thought of something and took out the icy crystal pill from his storage bag. The icy crystal pill was a 5th grade pill. It could increase a martial artist's soul power to 5th grade for a short period of time. After calming down the excitement in his heart, Ningyu swallowed the cold crystal pill after his mental state returned to its peak. Buzz! As the icy crystal pill entered his mouth, a cool feeling swept through his body. Then Ningyu found traces of pseudo-soul power emitted from the icy crystal pill and fused with his own soul power. Peak 3rd grade soul power. Early stage, 4th grade. Middle stage, 4th grade. Peak 4th grade. In a short period of time, Ningyu's soul power reached the peak of 4th grade. Then, with a crack, his soul power broke through the limit of 4th grade and reached 5th grade. 2 hours. I have 2 hours to refine the soul enchanting pill. Feeling the strength of his soul power, Ningyu's face lit up. The soul enchanting pill was only a peak 4th grade pill. Now that his soul power had reached 5th grade and he had enough herbs, refining the soul enchanting pill was not a difficult task. Ningyu did not waste any time. He sat cross-legged and took out the herbs needed to refine the soul enchanting pill from his storage ring. He burned his soul power into flames and began refining the soul enchanting pill. Because his cultivation had reached the peak of the Hotian realm and his soul power had increased to 5th grade, Ningyu's speed in refining the soul enchanting pill was very fast. After an hour, he succeeded. Top grade soul enchanting pill. Looking at the black pill in his hand, Ningyu opened his mouth wide and swallowed it. After the soul enchanting pill entered his stomach, it turned into a transparent light shield that wrapped around a trace of Ningyu's soul force. Ningyu's mind flickered, and the wrapped soul power swept out from his body and flew towards the soul-breaking sword. Kacha! Kacha! With the help of the soul enchanting pill, Ningyu's soul force smoothly entered the soul-breaking sword, took root and engraved itself inside. Whew! A moment later, Ningyu let out a long sigh of relief as he felt the mysterious connection between him and the absolute soul sword. Whoosh! With the soul-breaking sword in hand, Ningyu performed the first move of the Supreme 9 Purities, sword art, and waved it in the right hall. Bang, bang, bang. The stone walls of the right hall were bombarded by the absolute soul sword's sword gleams, making banging sounds and even shaking a little, as expected of a heaven-grade flying sword. It's so powerful. Putting away the soul-breaking sword, Ningyu nodded in satisfaction. When the first move of the Supreme 9 Purities sword art was executed with the soul-breaking sword, its power was close to the peak of the Xiantian realm. In other words, if Ningyu encountered the barbarian Corpse King again, he would be able to contend with it. There was no need for him to keep running. Now that my cultivation has advanced to the peak of the Hotian realm, I can already practice the second move of the Supreme 9 Purities sword art, the innate malevolent sword wave. When he was in the late stage of the Hotian realm, Ningyu practiced the first move of the Supreme 9 Purities sword art, which was also the most basic move. Now that his cultivation had reached the peak of the Hotian realm, his soul force had also increased to the 5th grade with the help of the cold crystal pill. Moreover, he still had an hour. It just so happened that Ningyu could use this hour to practice the second move of the Supreme 9 Purities sword art. If he succeeded, he would not be afraid of a peak of the Xiantian realm martial artist. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu's soul force surged. He controlled the soul-breaking sword and began practicing the innate malevolent sword wave. An hour later, Ningyu's brows were tightly furrowed because he had only touched the surface of the innate malevolent sword wave and had not succeeded in practicing it. Gritting his teeth, Ningyu took out another cold crystal pill and swallowed it. Ningyu was not too worried. Now that he had 3 cold crystal pills, it meant that he had 6 hours to practice the innate malevolent sword wave. According to his judgment, 6 hours was enough for him to practice the innate malevolent sword wave to the great accomplishment realm. Time flew, and 6 hours passed in the blink of an eye. Ningyu's eyes were burning hot. With a flick of his wrist, he kept the soul-breaking sword into his storage ring. Ningyu, hurry to the left hall. At this moment, the Dark Emperor's anxious voice was heard, causing Ningyu's expression to change. Not daring to delay, Ningyu rushed out of the right hall and entered the left hall. Just as he entered the left hall, Ningyu saw the Dark Emperor standing upright with his front claws on a transparent barrier. Inside the barrier, there's a ball of golden energy. Ningyu, this barrier is at its weakest now. Hurry up and break it for me. Seeing Ningyu enter, the Dark Emperor yelled. With a thought, the soul-breaking sword appeared in his hand. Innate malevolent sword wave. The soul-breaking sword vibrated at a strange frequency. Soon, a sword light appeared in the void and slammed toward the barrier in front of the Dark Emperor. Bang! This attack of Ningyu's was immensely powerful. In the blink of an eye, it landed on the barrier. In the next instant, there was a loud bang and the barrier was blasted open. Ningyu, you almost hit me. After complaining, the Dark Emperor increased his speed and instantly rushed in front of the ball of golden energy. He opened his mouth and swallowed it. Ningyu, protect me. I need to refine this energy. The Dark Emperor's voice entered Ningyu's ears. Once I refine this energy, my cultivation will recover to its peak. At that time, I can fly as high as the sky and jump as the sea. Slightly taken aback, Ningyu was a little stunned. He could feel that the ball of energy that the Dark Emperor had swallowed was extremely huge, so huge that it made his heart palpitate. Ningyu knew that the energy belonged to the Dark Emperor and had nothing to do with him. Holding the soul-breaking sword in his hand, Ningyu slowly retreated out of the left hall to protect the Dark Emperor. Swish! However, just as he left the left hall, Ningyu's expression changed because he saw a familiar figure in front of him. Zhang Wenyong! Clenching his fists tightly, Ningyu said in a deep voice, Ningyu! Zhang Wenyong didn't expect to run into Ningyu here, so he was stunned for a moment. But very quickly his eyes narrowed, and he said in a deep voice, Do you have my jade bracelet on you? Devouring jade bracelet? With a thought, Ningyu took out the devouring jade bracelet from his storage ring. Good, very good. I originally wanted to let you live, but since you have the devouring jade bracelet on you, I'm sorry, but this day next year will be the anniversary of your death. The moment he finished speaking, Zhang Wenyong rose from the ground and boundless origin energy appeared all over his body. His body was like a sharp sword as he attacked Ningyu. Sensing the boundless origin energy, fluctuations around Zhang Wenyong, Ningyu's heart trembled. This was because the strength of the origin energy had clearly surpassed the mid-stage of the innate realm and reached the late stage of the innate realm. Skybane Sword Wave. The origin energy in the cyclone surged crazily as Ningyu swung the absolute soul sword. The next moment, a monstrous sword aura swept across the sky and charged at Zhang Wenyong at an astonishing speed. The sword aura was extremely fast and appeared in front of Zhang Wenyong in the blink of an eye. No. Feeling the boundless origin energy fluctuations from the sword aura, Zhang Wenyong growled in a low voice and stopped his body. He madly mobilized the origin energy in his body and formed a huge origin energy shield on the surface of his body. Whoosh! The sword aura was extremely fast. Like the scythe of the Grim Reaper, it easily tore through Zhang Wenyong's defense and landed heavily on his chest. Ah! In that instant, Zhang Wenyong's heart-wrenching scream resounded throughout the entire Elixir Dragon Valley. Uft! Amidst Zhang Wenyong's scream, the sword aura suddenly exploded and pierced through his body. The huge impact sent Zhang Wenyong's body flying. Then, with a loud bang, he slammed heavily into the stone wall behind him. Boom! Just then a loud explosion sounded and the entire hall began to shake. Kacha! The shaking was very obvious. Even the ground was shaking and cracks appeared in the space. Damn it, the Elixir Dragon Valley is going to collapse. In that instant, countless martial artists in the Elixir Dragon Valley fled desperately towards the entrance of the Elixir Dragon Valley. Rumble. In the next moment, the entire Elixir Dragon Valley collapsed. Countless rocks fell to the ground and the surrounding walls collapsed. However, just as Ningyu was about to rush into the left hall to warn the Dark Emperor, a startling light beam shot out from under his feet and enveloped the entire Medicine Emperor Hall. The shaking of the Elixir Dragon Valley lasted for a full hour. Due to the protection of the light beam, the Medicine Emperor Hall was safe and sound. Not good. Before Ningyu could celebrate, countless figures suddenly flew over from afar and landed in front of the Medicine Emperor Hall. Seeing these figures suddenly appear, Ningyu's face darkened and his heart sank to the bottom, because among these people he saw a familiar figure. It was none other than the black-robed man who blocked the entrance of the Elixir Dragon Valley for Zhang Wenyang. Chapter 76. Zhang Wenyang was killed. Who is that young man? Was he the one who killed Zhang Wenyang? Ningyu, that young man is Ningyu. After a brief silence, exclamations rang out in front of the Medicine King Hall. Many martial artists looked at Ningyu, their faces filled with shock. Back at the entrance of Pill Dragon Valley, the Zhang family's strong performance was still fresh in their minds. Ningyu actually dared to kill Zhang Wenyang. This was a blatant provocation to the Zhang family. Young Master Zhang. The black-robed man saw Zhang Wenyang lying on the ground. His face changed, his toes touched the ground, and instantly landed beside Zhang Wenyang. Seeing that Zhang Wenyang's chest was pierced, his eyes were dim, and he was no longer breathing, the black-robed man was furious. He stared at Ningyu and said fiercely, "You killed young Master Zhang!" Holding the soul-severing sword, Ningyu said in a deep voice, "If I say that Zhang Wenyang was not killed by me, would you believe me?" "Kid, you have guts." The black-robed man's eyes turned cold. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Ningyu and struck out with his palm. The palm wind contained majestic yuan energy fluctuations. Facing such a powerful palm wind, Ningyu's pupils shrank, the veins on his arms popped, and the soul-severing sword flew out of his hand. The soul-severing sword spun in the air, and soon after, a shocking sword light shot out, blasting towards the black-robed man's palm. Bang! The sword light and the black-robed man's palm collided. A loud sound rang out, and a powerful wave swept out. Then, Ningyu's figure was sent flying, and finally he fiercely hit the stone wall behind him. The black-robed man did not expect Ningyu to be able to block his full-force attack, and his face suddenly turned a little ugly. One must know that he was a true martial artist, and Ningyu's cultivation was probably not even at the Xiantian realm. "Kid, I did not expect your strength to be so strong. No wonder you can kill young Master Zhang." After the attack, the black-robed man said gloomily, "Soul-severing sword, come back." Crawling up from the ground, Ningyu's soul force surged. With a wave of his hand, he attempted to retrieve the broken soul sword. A heaven-ranked flying sword. Looks like this trip wasn't in vain. However, just as the breaking soul sword was about to return to Ningyu's side, an elderly figure suddenly shot out from the sky. With a wave of his hand, boundless yuan qi turned into a huge palm that grabbed at the breaking soul sword. This powerful yuan qi undulation caused a biting chill to appear in Ningyu's eyes. Obviously, the old man had reached the peak of the true martial realm. Ningyu's expression was grave as he looked at the huge palm in the sky. His eyes darkened, and the essence in his qi whirlpool surged out crazily. Just as he was about to make a move, his heart skipped a beat, and he quickly turned his head. Above his head, a similar giant palm containing boundless yuan energy appeared and ruthlessly smashed towards the old man's palm. Rumble! An earth-shattering rumble sounded out. Then the crowd was shocked to find that the old man's giant yuan energy palm was rapidly dissipating under the latter's powerful obstruction. In the sky, after the giant palm dissipated, a figure shot out like a stream of light and steadily landed beside Ningyu. Guanzhong! The old man looked at the figure that had suddenly appeared, his gaze cold as he berated. Zhang Tai, given your status, isn't it a little unreasonable for you to deal with a junior? Guanzhong indifferently said as he shielded Ningyu behind him. Ha ha ha! With a hearty laugh, Zhang Tai said, Junior? I don't care if he's a junior or not. After killing young Master Zhang, no one in this world can save him. Guanzhong's expression turned cold as he coldly said, What if I want to protect him today? As Guanzhong's words faded, a middle-stage true martial realm elder of Danwu College appeared. You want to protect him? With just you and that trash beside you. Zhang Tai sneered. Us too. Soon after, a few martial artists appeared beside Guanzhong. People from Shui Yu Pavilion. Seeing the sudden appearance of a few figures, Zhang Tai was slightly surprised. He didn't expect Ningyu to be so popular. Not only did Guanzhong from Danwu College want to protect him, but now the people from Shui Yu Pavilion also want to protect him. Not bad at all. Zhang Tai's expression was gloomy as he sneered. Normally, I might give you face and let Ningyu go, but not today because he killed Zhang Wenyong. Shua, Shua. In the next moment, a few figures appeared behind Zhang Tai. Looking at the figures behind Zhang Tai, Guanzhong and Old Mo's complexion became very ugly. Because of the 6 people behind Zhang Tai, 4 of them had reached the early stage of true martial realm, and 2 of them had even reached the middle stage of true martial realm. Ha ha ha, it's so lively, I wonder if I'm late? At this moment, a loud laughter came from the void, and soon after, a cold light came from afar and turned into a hunchbacked figure. Corpse Sect, Golden Corpse King. Guanzhong's complexion was quite ugly as he clenched his fists. He had already received accurate information that the Corpse Sect had killed several students of Danwu College who had come to gain experience, and even killed an elder of Danwu College. If he hadn't appeared in time, even the elder leading the team would have been killed. Guanzhong, why are you so excited to see me? The corner of the Golden Corpse King's mouth rose as he waved his hand, and then a few strange figures appeared. Among these figures, there was one that Ningyu was very familiar with. It was the Barbarian Corpse King. However, the Barbarian Corpse King was obviously very respectful to the other 2 people, because the other 2 people were at the early stage of true martial realm and the middle stage of true martial realm. Hee, Guanzhong, it seems you can't protect Ningyu today. With a faint smile, Zhang Tai said, I just want to take Ningyu's head. As for the grudge between you and the Corpse Sect, I don't want to get involved. Ningyu is a consecrator of the Snow Domain Pavilion. If you dare to kill him, you will become an enemy of the Snow Domain Pavilion. Lu Wei took a step forward and berated. Ningyu is the benefactor of the Drunken Cloud Manor. Whoever dares to touch him today, the Drunken Cloud Manor will definitely go all out to kill them. Xiao Yunlan said in a low voice. Back in Pale Dragon Valley, Ningyu had saved her life. Now, she would definitely help Ningyu. Zhang Tai's complexion was extremely gloomy, and a chill emerged on his face. Guanzhong was only an elder of Danwu College. He couldn't represent the entire Danwu College, and protecting Ningyu was at best his own idea. However, the Drunken Cloud Manor and the Snow Domain Pavilion were different. The 2 juniors who spoke could represent their respective forces. These 2 forces were comparable to the Zhang family, and even slightly stronger than the Zhang family. If it was only the Snow Domain Pavilion protecting Ningyu, he could withstand the pressure and kill him. But now with the addition of the drunken cloud manor, he felt a lot of pressure. Suddenly, Zhang Tai's eyes turned, and with a flick of his wrist, a storage bag appeared in his hand and said, "Golden Corpse King, there are 500,000 high-grade origin crystals inside. As long as you can kill Ningyu, they will be yours." Jia, 500,000 high-grade origin crystals to buy the life of a Hotian realm martial artist. You are really willing. Chapter 77. 1,000,000 high-grade origin crystals? Golden Corpse King, why don't you just rob me? Zhang Tai almost fainted from anger. Originally, he thought that 500,000 high-grade origin crystals was the limit. He didn't expect the Golden Corpse King to ask for 1,000,000 high-grade origin crystals. In the black market, 1,000,000 high-grade origin crystals was enough to buy a low-grade heaven-rank flying sword. Shrugging his shoulders, the Golden Corpse King said indifferently, "If you don't want to, I won't force you. After all, killing Ningyu requires pressure from the three forces. The corpse sect can't handle it. Can't handle my ass." Zhang Tai cursed in his heart. In the great Xia kingdom, the corpse sect was the target of everyone. They had already become enemies with the three forces. Although Zhang Tai thought that, he didn't say it out loud. He gritted his teeth and said, 800,000 high-grade origin crystals. Fine, 800,000 it is. Just treat it as making a friend. After pondering for a while, the Golden Corpse King turned around and said, "Which one of you is willing to make a move?" The Barbarian Corpse King stepped forward and said fiercely, "Hall Master, I am willing to kill Ningyu." Ever since Ningyu escaped from his hands, the Barbarian Corpse King had been very angry and wanted to find a chance to kill Ningyu. How could he miss such a good opportunity? The Golden Corpse King nodded and said, "Go, finish this quickly." Yes, the Barbarian Corpse King's body flashed and landed in front of Ningyu. At this moment, Zhang Tai waved his hand. Immediately, several figures behind him flew out and surrounded Lu Wei's group. "Zhang Tai, what are you doing?" Guan Zhong scolded. "Nothing. I just want to stretch my body," Zhang Tai said slowly. "I already promised not to kill Ningyu. What else do you want?" "You." Guan Zhong was very angry, but there was nothing he could do. The Zhang family had brought a lot of experts this time. He, the Snow Pavilion, and the Drunken Cloud Manor could only stop the Zhang family from attacking Ningyu. Now that the experts of the Corpse Insect had intervened, he couldn't help Ningyu. According to Zhang Tai's attitude, as long as he helped Ningyu, the experts of the Zhang family would definitely not sit idly by. At that time, not only would Ningyu not be able to save him, but many people would also be implicated. "Elder Guan, thank you for your kindness. I also want to exchange a few moves with the Barbarian Corpse King." At this moment, Ningyu took a step forward, the soul-severing sword in his hand, and said solemnly he came to the Ning family and ambushed me. I will never forget this. Ningyu, the Barbarian Corpse King, is a cultivator at the consummate level of the Xiantian realm. You are not his opponent. Before Guan Zhong could speak, Lu Wei hastily said, "That's right, Ningyu. At this time, you must not let your emotions affect your decisions." Xiao Yunlan angrily stomped her feet and said, in their opinion, Ningyu was definitely not a match for the Barbarian Corpse King. After all, Ningyu was only at the Hotian realm, while the Barbarian Corpse King was at the consummate level of the Xiantian realm. The gap between the two couldn't be measured. Ningyu waved his hand and said, "It's fine. It won't be that easy for the Barbarian Corpse King to kill me." As soon as he finished speaking, Ningyu's mind moved, and the Yuan Qi in his knowledge burst out. Whoosh! At this moment, the surrounding young martial artists' faces changed, and they all looked at Ningyu in surprise. This was because the Yuan Qi around Ningyu's body had reached the late stage of the Xiantian realm. Good boy, if you are given more time to grow, it is very likely that even I will not be your opponent." The barbarian Corpse King was secretly shocked. He didn't expect that Ning Yu's strength would increase so much in just a few days. His face darkened, and he stomped his feet on the ground. His body turned into a shadow, and he charged straight at Ning Yu. Netherworld Samsara Palm. First palm, absolute dust. The surrounding Yuan Qi instantly entered Ning Yu's palm. Then, with a flick of his wrist, an illusory palm print flew out. Second palm, solitary name. After striking out with the palm, Ning Yu's wrist did not stop. Instead, he continued to form hand seals and struck out with another palm. Ning Yu didn't use the Supreme Nine Purities sword art immediately. Instead, he wanted to test the power of the Netherworld Samsara Palm. After all, his cyclone had already split into two, and the Yuan Qi in each cyclone was comparable to a late-stage Xiantian realm martial artist. Facing Ning Yu's two palm prints, the barbarian Corpse King's expression was solemn. He repeatedly struck out with both hands, and Yuan Qi palm prints swept out, meeting the palm prints head-on. Crack! 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 In the next moment, the barbarian Corpse King's Yuan Qi palm prints were completely shattered. Swoosh! At the same time, the last palm print had already arrived in front of the barbarian Corpse King's head, and it pressed down fiercely. In Corpse Fist! The barbarian Corpse King's pupils shrank slightly, and a deep roar suddenly came out of his mouth. In the next moment, a huge fist aura surged wildly, and finally, it ruthlessly struck at Ning Yu's palm print. A terrifying Yuan Qi wave swept down from midair, and very quickly spread out in this area. Bang! A loud sound rang out, and then a figure rushed out in a sorry state, and finally crashed into a small tree, breaking it in half. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, Ning Yu stood up with difficulty, and a cold look appeared in his eyes. Barbarian Corpse King, you have already touched the threshold of the true martial realm. Ha ha ha, Ning Yu, this is all thanks to you. With a loud laugh, the barbarian Corpse King smiled sinisterly. A few days ago, after you escaped, I concentrated on cultivating, and now my strength is twice as strong as before. Ning Yu, this day next year will be the anniversary of your death. In the next moment, a cold voice suddenly came out of the barbarian Corpse King's mouth. The barbarian Corpse King's palm quickly moved, and then a blood-colored phantom appeared behind him. Immediately after, the barbarian Corpse King took a step forward, and all the primordial qi in his body was suddenly injected into the blood-red shadow. An astonishing strong wind swept out crazily, bringing with it a terrifying gust of wind that seemed to be able to destroy the heavens and earth. Blood Corpse Shadow. It turned out to be the unique skill of the Corpse Sect, Blood Corpse Shadow. This time, Ning Yu is in danger. Not everyone can cultivate the Blood Corpse Shadow. I didn't expect the Barbarian Corpse King to succeed. Yes, the Blood Corpse Shadow is extremely difficult to cultivate. It needs to kill a lot of martial artists and use their hearts to cultivate. By relying on the Blood Corpse Shadow, the Barbarian Corpse King can even contend with a true martial realm early-stage martial artist. The sounds of discussion quietly spread in the surroundings. Everyone agreed that Ning Yu was finished. The Blood Corpse Shadow behind the Barbarian Corpse King was extremely powerful, and it could contend with a true martial realm early-stage martial artist. Elder Guan quickly helped Ning Yu. Xiao Yunlan, who was next to him, said anxiously with an ashen face. Experts of the Snow Domain Pavilion. Listen up, protect Ning Yu at all costs. Lu Wei clenched her fists, and the worry on her face was no less than Xiao Yunlan's. At this moment, Zhang Tai's aura was released, and he said coldly, I advise you not to have any thoughts. I'm already being extremely benevolent by not killing Ning Yu personally. As for whether he can survive the Barbarian Corpse King's attack, that will depend on his luck. Guanzhong's face was ashen, and the aura of a peak true martial realm gushed out, forming a confrontation with Zhang Tai. Chapter 78. Damn it! Ning Yu cursed inwardly as he stared at the blood-colored corpse that was just inches away from him. He tapped the ground with the tip of his foot and retreated. In the process of retreating, Ning Yu shook his wrist and the soul-breaking sword appeared in his hand. Ning Yu's expression was extremely grave as he released his soul force. He did not dare to be careless. He felt an extremely dangerous aura from the blood-colored corpse that made his heart palpitate. Heaven Fiend Sword Ripple. At the crucial moment, Ning Yu released his soul force and slashed down with the soul-breaking sword in his hand. Swoosh! A shocking sword ray shot out from the soul-breaking sword and clashed with the blood-colored corpse under everyone's shocked gazes. Ning Yu, you want to contend against my blood-colored corpse with this sword? You're too naive. What? Looking at the sword ray that shot out from the soul-breaking sword, the corner of the barbarian corpse king's mouth rose. Just when he was about to mock, his expression changed drastically, and he turned around to run. Chi! The soul-breaking sword was a heaven-ranked flying sword. When used with the second form of the Supreme Nine Purities sword art, its power was boundless. The sword ray slashed the blood-colored corpse into two, and then shot towards the barbarian corpse king like a rocket. Seeing that the sword ray was about to hit him, the barbarian corpse king's eyes turned ferocious. He blocked with his right hand in front of his chest and clashed with the sword ray. Ah! However, the barbarian corpse king had obviously underestimated the sword ray's power. The power of the second form of the Supreme Nine Purities sword art, the Heaven Fiend Sword Ripple, was comparable to an all-out attack from a true realm martial artist. As the barbarian corpse king screamed miserably, his arm was severed by the sharp sword ray and fell to the ground. The heart-wrenching scream made the barbarian corpse king's face turn pale. Buzz! After the soul-breaking sword ray severed the barbarian corpse king's arm, its yuan qi was finally exhausted and it dissipated. Hua! The sudden change made everyone's jaws drop and their eyes widen. They were somewhat dumbfounded. They never thought that the situation would change so dramatically. The barbarian corpse king, who had the absolute advantage in strength, actually had its arm chopped off by Ning Yu? If they didn't see it with their own eyes, they wouldn't believe it even if they were beaten to death. After a brief silence, the crowd erupted into a flurry of discussion. Are my eyes playing tricks on me? Ning Yu chopped off the barbarian corpse king's arm? Of course you're not seeing things. I didn't expect Ning Yu to be so powerful. First, he broke the barbarian corpse king's blood-colored corpse shadow, and then he cut off the barbarian corpse king's arm. Heaven-ranked flying sword. The flying sword in Ning Yu's hand is at least a heaven-grade flying sword. More or less. Otherwise, it wouldn't be that powerful. The discussions that came from the surroundings caused the barbarian corpse king's face to turn ashen, as if he had eaten shit. In the few confrontations with Ning Yu, he was always at a disadvantage. This time, even his arm was chopped off. Ning Yu, I want you dead. With a loud roar, the barbarian corpse king endured the intense pain from his arm and dashed out in an instant. His figure appeared in front of Ning Yu like a ghost. His left hand carried violent essence and smashed towards Ning Yu's head. Not good. Seeing the barbarian corpse king's fierce attack, Ning Yu's expression changed slightly. He didn't expect the barbarian corpse king to still be able to unleash such a powerful attack after his right arm was chopped off. After a brief moment of shock, Ning Yu formed a seal with both hands and waved them in the air rapidly. Energy gathering, handprint. As the previous attack had exhausted all the essence in the cyclone, Ning Yu had no choice but to use the energy gathering handprint to plunder all the essence in the surroundings. Innate Fiend Sword Wave. After plundering some essence, Ning Yu used the Innate Fiend Sword Wave again. Buzz! This time, due to the lack of essence, the power of the innate fiend sword wave was much weaker than the previous time. However, the Barbarian Corpse King's battle prowess had also dropped by a lot. If the Barbarian Corpse King's previous attack was equivalent to an early stage true martial realm martial artist, then the current attack was only equivalent to a late stage Xiantian realm martial artist. After losing an arm, the Barbarian Corpse King's strength had dropped by at least half. Swish! Seeing Ningyu use the same move again, the Barbarian Corpse King's body stiffly stopped in the air. The Barbarian Corpse King stopped moving, but Ningyu didn't stay idle. The instant the soul-severing sword ray blasted out, his body shot out explosively, and the netherworld samsara palm blasted out towards the Barbarian Corpse King's chest. Seeing Ningyu approaching him, the Barbarian Corpse King clenched his left fist, and the corner of his mouth slightly rose. A wisp of corpse in chi quietly flowed out of his body and entered his left fist. Ningyu, even if I have to suffer serious injuries this time, I will still kill you. The Barbarian Corpse King clenched his left fist tightly and fiercely said. He had never been as humiliated as he was today. In front of so many people, his right arm had been chopped off by a Hotian realm martial artist. If this matter were to spread back to the corpse sect, where would he put his face? How would he establish himself in the corpse sect in the future? Therefore, the Barbarian Corpse King made up his mind to kill Ningyu. Moreover, he couldn't let Ningyu die easily. He had to make him die a painful death. Corpse in Chi. Suddenly, Ningyu's mind moved and a sense of danger involuntarily rose in his heart. Releasing his soul force, Ningyu saw the wisps of chi on the Barbarian Corpse King's left fist. His eyes turned and an evil smile appeared on his face. Puchi! At this moment, the soul-severing sword wave struck the Barbarian Corpse King's chest. The huge force caused the Barbarian Corpse King to retreat a few steps before he could stabilize his body. Barbarian Corpse King, eat my fist! Ningyu changed his palm into a fist and punched towards the Barbarian Corpse King's left hand. Today, I want to see if your fist is harder or if mine is more powerful. Ignoring the sharp pain coming from his chest, the Barbarian Corpse King's left fist carried a real Yuan Qi gale that wrapped around the corpse Yin Qi. Instead of retreating, it advanced towards Ningyu. As the distance between him and Ningyu grew closer, the Barbarian Corpse King seemed to see the miserable state of Ningyu when he was hit by the corpse Yin Qi. The corner of his mouth couldn't help but rise, revealing a sinister smile. What? However, when he was still 20 centimeters away from Ningyu, Ningyu suddenly withdrew his fist and the soul-severing sword appeared in his hand. Barbarian Corpse King, do you think I would be stupid enough to exchange fists with you? Holding the soul-severing sword, Ningyu slashed out. Ah! Immediately, the Barbarian Corpse King let out a miserable shriek like a pig being slaughtered. Large beads of sweat quickly dripped down his forehead. Thump! With his left hand chopped off, the Barbarian Corpse King's body fell from the sky and fiercely hit the ground. Ningyu! I defended against your soul attack spell, but I didn't expect you to have a heaven-rank flying sword, the Barbarian Corpse King said fiercely as he endured the stinging pain coming from his arms. Just because I can't get your soul attack spell doesn't mean others can't. With that, the Barbarian Corpse King turned around and respectfully said to the Golden Corpse King, Hall Master, Ningyu has mastered a soul attack spell. If I'm not wrong, it should be Tian, courting death? Before the Barbarian Corpse King finished speaking, Ningyu's expression changed greatly. Once others found out that he had mastered a soul attack spell, he would be in endless trouble in the future. In the next moment, he stomped his feet on the ground, and his body instantly shot out. With the soul-severing sword in his hand, he slashed at the Barbarian Corpse King's head. Brat, you dare to kill someone from my corpsine sect. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.